What is up? What is up? Grace and peace, grand rising, everybody. Good morning. It is the new fiscal year, and we're going to get into it. My pretty gangsters here early. I saw Brother Pinero signed in from last night in the UK. Salute to Brother Pinero. Also to my brother Smitty, who chopped in around 12 midnight today. So, today's freestyle, so there was nothing really planned as far as any topics. So, we're gonna just talk about what's really been going on during these last couple of days. 2028 equals out to 2000, or 2024 equals out to the number 8, right? So that has to do with abundance. It's also the year of karma. So a lot of stuff within the past couple of months have been showing just that. There's been karma, whether, there is such thing as good karma and there's such thing as bad karma. It's dharma, and then there's karma, right? So did I even pick up my, yeah, I did. So, those, you reap what you sow, basically, is what it is, right? And last January, when I had brought out, I think it was either a Mindful Monday or if it was just a midweek check-in, I had mentioned that the year of 2023 was going to be a year of spiritual justice, right? It's also, the number was a spiritual, universal 7 is a highly spiritual number. And that there were going to be a lot of things playing out, whether in your own home life or on the grand scale of things, that you will see happen. And it was having to do with some deaths too. And I really was having a hard time even saying that, because, I was going through some stuff with my dad while he was still in the physical, that I was just like, not hoping that didn't happen, but, it was a judgment year. And so it stood for, this is people coming up to their chopping block. This is people coming up to having to face their judge, having to face the man in the mirror, sort of say. And, some people were, going to be taken out. And then part of that rapture, it just so happened to be my dad. Then I got a call, or rather a text message last Friday, the 28th, that his brother passed away. So, and they were close growing up, but as adults and whatnot, they had their own things going on. And then I had something else happen traumatically, but thank goodness no one was seriously hurt. And my son is still here, breathing and walking today. So I have all praise due to God, Allah, Jah, ancestors, my loved ones that have transitioned over. Be there with him at a time where he might not be here today. So a lot of stuff within the past couple of days. But as I mentioned, going into the year 2023, right, in regards to judgment, well, now we're coming to the execution part. So, this thing about Epstein and his, the people that were on his island, or so forth and so on. The list is being exposed, and, people can't help but to talk about the list. All right, so let me rewind just a little bit. Not taking personal readings at the moment. I have closed my calendar down. for personal reasons. And I will let everybody know again through the community section. Please make sure to check the community section when I will be going live. When I'll be doing personal readings, but as of right now, I'm not. I know Wally had asked, when will I be coming back to that? I don't have a start date. I really don't. I initially started this personal readings back in February 2023, so maybe I'll do it then, but it's not a guarantee. And it just I can't put a timeline on when I'm gonna come back, because my mind is really, it needs to digress. And I'll do the mini readings on the shorts. I'll keep those going as best as possible. I know I don't do it every week and I haven't been up there, but I mean, it's just when spirit moves me at this point, I really just moving to my beat, so I will let everybody know when I will be doing personal readings again. All right. I know that there are some people that, really need to have some kind of guidance, in a sense, spiritual guidance, and some spiritual know-how. And I don't want to leave them hanging, but at the same time, I'm beyond my capacity for that. So definitely let you know. Now, we are in Mindful Monday number 7. We're in season 2 right now, and this is episode 2. Again, this is a freestyle, so this is not any particular subject or a topic that I had been doing homework on, but I'm going to discuss it, what has been going on in recent news. And, if anybody wants to come up onto the panel and discuss it, I would ask you to be very mindful about what you use, the words, the codes, so forth and so on. These not StreamYards, but these streaming apps or YouTube and Instagram and things of that nature, I mean, they're very sensitive with certain words. I had posted on Instagram something about, what was the word that I used? I don't know, joker or some kind of such a word that would not be considered anything derogatory against their criteria, and they blocked. They said what I was using was insensitive. Cosmology Bays in the building. Salute. So I would ask, if you do come up onto the panel, just, talk gibberish almost, because it is so insane that the mainstream media will let you will say certain things, and nothing gets bleeped, blurred out, right? I mean, they have their bleeps and blurred out. But what I'm saying is that, again, when freedom of speech gets compromised, then it's not really freedom of speech, right? And also fair use. Before we go any further, I'm going to be using the fair use disclaimer. The Fair Use Act disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of the fair use. So yeah, that's why we have to say it. And I almost feel like I need to say fair use before I even put a comment in Instagram, because this is the second time they did that. And I'm like, but I'm not even using any like I couldn't even see what the word, like I couldn't even understand what it was that they blocked me from what I said. And I was just like, you know what? Maybach's in the building. Salute, salute. Peace to my brother Maybach. All right. So yeah. So if we when I open up the panel, just dumb it down, because who knows what have you, because it's just so stupid. And we are here, as the Fair Use Act says, we're here to comment, criticize, and teach, right? But in that same breath, within those words, they have it where no, you can't say that because it's going against their policy. Whatever. All right. So again, this is a freestyle episode. Just catching up on what's the latest things that have been talked about in mainstream and lamestream media. What the holidays, if you celebrated, what it did for you. Did you celebrate it? Did you not celebrate it? Why not? It's personal if you don't want to discuss it. I did a small little dinner, like a Sunday dinner, as if I was going to cook Sunday dinner anyway for my children. And, I did participate in giving them gifts, but my kids would be considered spoiled because I buy, especially when they were younger, for no reason at all. I would just, if I'm in the store and I see something, whether it's a book or a toy or something, that I think is, my kids would love it, I'd buy it. So almost every day I'm giving gifts to my children. I didn't need a particular day to give a gift. But also, yeah, and right. And so thank you, Pretty Gangster. Right. And so like they telling you about a list that came out and has a whole bunch of people's names on it. And I don't even think those are all the names that are on there, right? We'll get to that in a minute. Thank you, Pretty Gangster. Yeah, my uncle, the day, and I think they were 3 years apart and they died 8 months and a day apart from each other. Now, my uncle was really sick. He was suffering from esophageal cancer. So we kind of knew, the inevitable. And so, we were just like knowing that he would be the first. But my dad went, and my dad was the youngest of out of that, my grandmother and their father. And so my aunt, I feel sorry for her because now both her brothers are gone in less than a year. And she's the oldest. So I'm really like, I'm all over the place. Again, something seriously happened to my son, but he's alive and well. I don't know, by the grace of God, he has no broken bones. He had negative on his CAT scan for a concussion. And that was all before the new year happened. So I was like, whoa, gee, did my prophecy did not come through fruition? Where I was like, I'm not going to even say shit anymore because, like, what? So, yeah, dealing with all that at one time was just, what the hell? So I just cocooned in. I do what I do best as a crab, as a Cancer, is I went into my shell and just was watching like black and white movies and documentaries, again, stuff that takes me away from reality. Because I just couldn't, like with nursing my son, and then my husband would just kind of like vigilant by his bedside, making sure that he's coherent and things of that nature. And it was just like, wow. All I can say is that it was God's way. And my grandmother definitely was with my son the night that my son got into this accident. So that was what my holiday consisted of. And I also have to know, even though I know exactly the origins of what these holidays are, and when we hear, oh, they're pagan holidays, and but pagan, if you go back into ancient ancestry, right? What our ancestors did would be considered pagan. So it wasn't until the Catholics came in and demonized the traditions and the rituals that our ancestors did and made it become this word pagan. And actually, what I just learned to find out, like I said, while I was going through my grief over the weekend, I had come to understand and hear that it was a writer here in New York by the name of Washington Irving and another man, I can't remember what his name was. They came up with the whole concept of Santa Claus. And it was all a whole propaganda back in the 1800s about, like gift giving and stuff like that. Like do some research, do a little digging on this Washington Irving and this other guy, I forgot what his name is. But before they combined the pagan, they combined Saint Nicholas and all this stuff, and they made it to what it is now. So thank Washington Irving out of New York state for what you see today as what Christmas was, because Christmas wasn't what it was before 1800s. Queen Victoria in England, they had everything was really pretty much more like Sunday dinner gathering with the family. Before that it was another tradition, but people were getting drunk and there was a lot of lewdness, and so Victoria had to curb all that, and that's how she made it more like be wholesome, be more family oriented. And it was Yule, I think it was called Yuletide, right? It wasn't the word Christmas. It wasn't until it got over here to the States that they made it what we know as Christmas today. So it's very interesting. So, before I can even sit there and start blaspheming certain things, I'm just like, well, when you think of what pagan is, it's what your ancestors would be doing, what they would call traditionalism and ritualism, right? And celebrating their harvest and dancing and giving sacrifices up. Some were giving human sacrifices up, right? So we want to glorify the ancestral traditions in some ways, but we curtail out the fact that some of these people were actually giving human sacrifices up to people, right? So before we can even sit there and be like, voodoo is, so beautiful, like how some people are making our traditions or our spiritualism, they're kind of glorifying it now these days, right? Which is, in a way, it's a good thing, because it's taking the spookism out of what it is that rituals and stuff of that nature are. But at the same token, it's leaving out what the dirt, the nitty gritty of it is, right? And so, I have to sit back and be like, you know what? If you celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving and all that stuff, just remember that it's at the end of the day, it's about being with your family. Now, if you engage in the materialism of it, then you're losing the sight, right? And it has nothing to do with Christ at all. That's what I'm saying. Washington Irving made this up, but they left out the whole spiritual part of Christmas. and it has nothing at all to do with Christianity. But it just so happens that Christians do go to have what they call a Christmas mass, and they do incorporate religion in with Christmas. But initially, Christmas had nothing to do with Christianity, Catholicism. So a lot of moving parts in here. And some of us that are so woke, right? They'll bastardize. You're celebrating that, or you're celebrating this, and then not really understanding the moving parts that were going on in making these type of traditions, right? So any type of religion or ritual that's being happening, baseball, basketball, what's happening right now, football, my family still keeps in touch with me as far as like, your Steelers is doing it this year. And I'm like, I haven't watched a Steelers game in like 5 years. I cut ties with that. So when you start to like break away from certain traditions without it being malice, like you're just like, I'm done with it all, because it takes a while to get it out of your skin, right? But that's not to cast stones at the next person because they're doing it. Just let them be. Because at the end of the day, bigger fish to fry than to worry about why this person still celebrates pagan holidays, when in all actuality, your ancestors were doing pagan rituals. I digress. And dogs in the building. Salute. Yeah, that's exactly it. Pretty gangster. I like that, what she said. In regards to, with celebrating the holidays and stuff like that. All you could do is just really just shake your head, because what are you gonna do? And thank goodness that my children are older, where I don't have to do the whole frills and thrills of going all out of my way. I got my kids what they need, not what they wanted, because they're adults. Well, 2 are adults and 1's a teenager. But I don't have to do all that decorating. I didn't decorate my house. I don't do Easter, Thanksgiving. Again, I sat in my house and watched TV. I actually then went up to go see my aunt and check in with her. But I don't do all that stuff no more, because I understand it. But at the same time, we can't be too high mighty on our podium to where now we know so much that we've isolated. We've made a mountain or a stand by ourselves, because it kind of could push other people away. Because believe it or not, there's more people that are still in traditionalism than not. And even if you have to be around a certain group of people that are so anti the establishment, right, that they don't participate in any of that stuff. And I personally don't know of a group, and I personally don't want to be a part of any set group. I don't like being in groups. 2 and 3 is good for me. 5, 6, 10 people, I start scratching and getting a little antsy. I don't like to be in big groups. But you can then cast yourself away from others and family members that may not know how to reach you on that level, because they're still kind of indoctrinated in certain ways that they've been brought up, right? And so now you're kind of like above them. And not to listen, if you like to be in that lonely place, that's fine. But for some, they miss the interaction. So it's like you know, what are you sacrificing? A day? You know what I'm saying? Like, and for some, they make it an excuse. They haven't seen family all year, so this is the time that they do get to see. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes a mind fuck. Like I said on OG's platform not too long ago, because it becomes this mind game with you. Oh, I gotta go out and get this, or I gotta put this up, and it becomes this thing, and it's just like, no, just be. And if you explain to people what your situation is, communication, that's it. They either accept it or reject it. And then you know who you can move accordingly with. But if you're constantly, on this holier than thou and higher than, you know what I'm saying? Because you know more than they do or what have you, it will put you in a box. And it will leave you out of your family in some ways, and your friends. And now if you're trying to exclude yourself from them, that's a perfect way. But for those that, I still love my family. I just won't participate in the reindeer game. So I'll sit on the sidelines. But you don't want to be that one always to just completely isolate yourself, because you're cutting yourself short from the ones that love you. Now, if there's people that you truly don't want to be around, then yes, that's your prerogative. But I'm talking about the cousin that you always chill with, that's cool with, or your sister, your brother, hell, your parents, your grandparents, because you know a little bit more. You've been deprogrammed from the matrix, that you still losing out from that organic love. It can do something to the scheme of things within your family and your friends. So thank goodness, like since I've been like this, my family understands. They'll still continue being them. I'm not trying to change them at all. I just give them wisdom where needs be, and whoever will apply it applies it. Other than that, I don't act like I'm holier than thou because I know a few things. No. Okay, so anyway, moving on to as we were talking about the Epstein list. So I want to skip over that one for now. I do want to talk. I saw the Cat Williams interview with Sugar Shay, and at the first 20 minutes, I was enjoying it. Then I stopped watching it because it was something in the interview it triggered me, in a sense, if I want to use that word, trigger. And you got to remember that all these people, as much as, because here's where my issues of the industry and reality are coming to a fork in the road. While Cat Williams is expressing himself and so-called whistleblowing, right? He's still an entertainer. So the 20 minutes of I like Cat Williams and I like what he's saying, then the lights dimmed off for me, and then the reality kicked in and was like, this is an entertainer. And then I stopped watching the interview, and then I picked up yesterday on the last hour and a half, because I think it's like 2 hours. Personally, I don't have nothing nice or bad to say about the interview. I feel like he's coming from his own truths, speaking his mind about, you know, how he grew up and how he got into the industry and how certain people, he said Cedric the Entertainer, took his lines, right? But in entertainment industry and in music, well, music would be under entertainment. In music, excuse me, rappers would take somebody else's line, and that would be called biting. Oh, why are you biting my style? Why are you biting my line? Or case in point, Dapper Dan. He is a we would call him a hip hop uh um what would we call him? He's hip hop designer to the rappers. But what Dapper Dan did was take Fendi, Prada, Louis Vuitton style, the actual the leathers, and make them into bags and coats and stuff, and he would have the designs inside the rappers' cars and stuff. And this is back in the 80s. And he's from Harlem, New York. He's a melanated, what we call black man from Harlem. But he was plagiarizing these name brand and specifically European name brands without permission. And he had a good run. He had a good about a good 5 years maybe of doing this. And Gucci put out a lawsuit on him. And I think he won the lawsuit, but now he has like an affiliation with Gucci. Like he has permission to use the Gucci label when he's designing his clothes. So people have been, and come to find out, the Fendi style is actually the symbol is actually a symbol that's used in, I forgot what particular country in Africa, but they use that as their cloth. So I mean, you know, when we get to somebody's taking my style, somebody's biting my, you know, lines, or they're copying my clothing. I mean, you have to be so unique that it would be hard for somebody to reproduce what you make, right? So, you know, Cat Williams saying that, and you know, I get it, and I guess because Cedric didn't say, hey man, you know, give him a head, like a nod to, you know, that was your line or whatever, probably made it so where Cat Williams was upset about it, right? So I mean, like I said, I don't have the greatest review about the interview, but a lot of people are like, oh, you know, all on social media now is, oh, Cat Williams is exposing, oh, Cat Williams is telling it all, you know, Cat Williams. But Cat Williams has been saying this for the past couple of years. He's been talking about the industry people, right? He's been talking about his colleagues. And he, I think, is the only one that has not put on a dress. And the issue with the dresses is they say that if you put the dress on, allegedly that means that they have brought you in, that your ass is theirs. So, I mean, but if you go back to even the early the 30s or so, you can see that they wore dresses. Hell, it goes back to the Greeks and the Romans. that they played women roles in their plays. So again, a whole another mind fuck for you, so that they make you think that that's okay, right? So that even now to modern time, it's okay for a man to wear a dress, and they'll tell you that that's very manly. Maybe in certain parts of the world, wearing what we would deem as a dress is necessary because of the weather and the climate that they're in. But by no means is little whoever wearing a tight dress or putting on nail polish and things of that nature masculine. I remember the first time I had saw what's this guy's name? Lord Jamar sitting on Vlad TV, Agent Vlad platform, and he was talking about how Kanye West wearing that skirt. He was wearing like a kilt, and he was like, "Nah, man, we don't do that. That's men don't do that, right?" And that was about I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, give or take, right? But you see, it's not, if anything, it's evolved into the man, full on wigs, weaves, eyelashes, nail polish, high heels. You have RuPaul. Now, I ain't gonna front. I like RuPaul's song, You Gotta Work, right? But it has taken over to where it's become, it's morphed into something more than its natural state. Like, that's not natural. But they want us to believe that that's natural. Right? So again, I'm diverting somewhere else, but what Kat was saying is that the whole dress thing is that he wasn't. He said Martin said we're gonna do Mama too, and when he realized what it was about and that they had a dress waiting for him, Kat was like, "Nah, I'm out. Not doing that. I'm here." Salute to Smitty. I'm gonna open up the panel in a minute. I just wanted to, again, this is a freestyle, so it's not, I don't have no real educated discussion right now. But nonetheless, the things that are being talked about today, it is putting people in a converse. There are conversational pieces that are going around. And yeah, be mindful about what's really the agenda, what's really being spoken, right? Because again, there's so many people that are just like, woohoo, with what Cat Williams is saying, and I'm like, y'all really, everybody just holds on to anything at this point, and it's almost like desperado. People were on social media with the Birdman hands, like, ooh, they couldn't wait to see what the Epstein list looks like. They really looking at this like this is a Super Bowl lineup. Like, who's gonna be on the Super Bowl this year? Think everybody at this point. That's why I had to sit back and digress the Cat Williams thing for a minute, because I was like, he's still an entertainer at the end of the day. He still dances around these people. And yeah, no, Cat is real, Cat's this, Cat's that. He's a stand-up dude for standing up to certain things that he won't do, that he feels will go against him. But I don't know who's permanent hair like that. So I had to take his interview in sections because the analytical me started dissecting him. And he said once before in a comedy stand-up that he was at a party and the party had these rooms and stuff was going on in there. So what he's saying now is not nothing new, but people are so desperate to hear whatever they feel is the truth that they've fallen for any bone and biscuit. The other thing that I did want to say was this alien thing. Now, I didn't hear too much about it, so I'm not going to talk too much on it, but something happened in Florida where there was like some alien visitation or something like that. I don't know. Thank you, Brother Smitty. Right. Right, pretty gangster. Mm-hmm. They took all that out. And then look, going back to biting, the man who put his name to all those traditional Black stories, traditional Black comedies, if you will, whatever, he dies, right? What is his name? Something Lear. And come to find out, it was a Black man that wrote all those stories all along. They didn't give him any credit. The man was living homeless, right? So that's what they do. That's what they do. They'll take your stuff and make it their own. Wally's in the building. Eric Monty, right. Eric Monty was a Black American man. I think he was from California. We're using black and white today, guys, right? We're not being politically correct. My Wally's in the building. Salute, Wally. Eric Monty wrote shows like Good Times, not Mama's Family. What was the other one that the Jeffersons came out of? He wrote that. He wrote the Jeffersons. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's from Chicago. Okay. My brother Panero's in the building. Salute. Norman Lear died owing this man so much money. Absolutely. And the heartstrings, all the teary eyes came out. Oh my God, Norman Lear died. And oh my God, he was Norman Lear, like Lior Cohen, are what we call, that's what you call the culture vultures. They will take your very intelligent Black mind and make it their own. So many intelligent, high IQ, Black men and women have made phenomenal things in this lifetime, but they're not recognized for it. Their patents have been turned into the white person's patents, and you'll never know. So, Cat Williams had a right to stand up and say that for himself, that, Cedric took, he bit my line, and that's how I knew it was mine, because I listened to the end of his skit, and I knew it. And he has the right. After the second, so then I watched like 20 minutes, and then I stopped watching because I started to see some certain things, and I was just like, okay. And then I watched the rest of it last night, and again, it was no hand clap for me. I wasn't like, oh shit, this was the dopest interview ever. If anything, it felt a little uncomfortable. It felt like a guidance counselor talking to a student, a pupil, and trying to get out what's wrong with them. If I was to use that analysis. And maybe it could be the height structure too, but it just felt a little filling the in-betweens. And me filling in the in-betweens was like, okay, I can't watch this because there's other stuff in here that I'm like. So I watched the rest of it yesterday, and I was just like, okay, it is what it is. Like, is he the champion now of outing people? Because he really wasn't saying a lot of nothing. Like, he was saying stuff in code. So if you could read between the lines, that's what it was. Everything was in between the lines. Even the in between the line was an in between the line. So I mean, I don't see the real big hype about it. Sliding down into Epstein list, like, what are they really going to tell you who's really there? They might throw in a few people that you know of that are. Somebody said Henry Kissinger. Somebody put that on the list, and I'm like, Henry Kissinger. I'm like, well, isn't he dead? Like, I gotta do the math, because I'm like, is Henry Kissinger dead? Like, how is he on the Epstein list? So now they just making up shit. Like, and then black folk just sitting there rubbing their hands together like it's the Super Bowl lineup. You should be appalled to know who is on that list. It would make your stomach turn if you knew who was on that list. That's why I'm like, I'm not bigging up none of these celebrities. Birds of a feather flock together. Cat Williams may be the only exception to the rule, but he still got to get his hands dirty when he's doing certain things, right? And then again, they're entertainers. I'm not believing anything anymore because shit is just going so sideways now. And you know when they did that? They did that when the pandemic happened. They did the biggest okie doke, the biggest hocus pocus. And that's when shit went upside down. And I was like, I can't believe nothing. I'll listen to it and I'll use my discernment. Jaguar Wright, they had her, and I was on that fence too, because I was like, let me peep her out. Let me just really hear and listen to what she's saying. But she's really on some. She has burned those bridges, and they really was about to 86 her. And so, yeah, I take credence to what she's saying. I believe what she's saying. I won't say I'll believe what she's saying over what Cat Williams is saying, but she's dealing with the artist. He's dealing with Hollywood. Everything is hocus pocus over there anyway. But yeah, and for like a good about 4 years. No, 2020. Yeah, almost 4 years now. I didn't stop fucking with her. A lot of people just like, oh, she's there for clout, and she's looking for attention. She's this, that, and the third. I don't think so. my intuition tells me otherwise. I don't think so. I think that woman was definitely, she was a victim of what Cat Williams is saying about people taking your stuff and running with it. She was the Jill Scott. She was the Angie Stone. She was the Alicia Keys. She said Roots, that she was in Roots. And she was like, the drummer dude, he's disgusting. That's why I'm like, y'all want to rub your hands and clap so bad to see who's on the Epstein list. That the drummer dude hangs out with whose show is he on? Let's stop. She said he's nasty. And the main singer, and try to get her in some compromising positions. And she was a teenager at the time. And they're all from Philly. She's from Philly too. So yeah, it might sound like this woman is scorned, but that's because they tried to railroad her literally and figuratively, and then throw her to the side because she wasn't playing ball with them no more. And what they do is bring up all this stuff. She was airing them all out. Erykah Badu, she's like, that's no saint. She said, and Moni Love, they was running through her. I'm like, wow, I like Moni Love. But she really was like, there's stuff in there that, like, how could you, like, you really had to been there. And I wasn't there, but I know about that type of thing. And I always been leery, and that's why I never jumped into that limelight. Going into modeling, I'm like, nah, I'm not. Because once you get in there, you're theirs. So that whole list, Big Dog Philly's in the house. Salute to the OG. Yeah, we like them. We love their music. You know, it's the same thing with R. Kelly. Love his music. I grew up from teenage to adult listening to this man. That's a catalog. That's 2 lifetimes of this man's work. But honeycombs, as Jaguar Wright calls him, they was all hanging out together too. So one gets a whole pass. Oh, but he did this worse, or he was doing that worse. They all were dealing with teenage girls. Who's worse than who? Because he took this one to Chicago, but he was hanging out at the high schools. They all were doing stuff like that. Some just knew how to hide it better. So that's what I'm saying. So if we're gonna choose and pick, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Because it's really going to be down to your favorite ones. And then they'll be like, damn, I didn't realize that they did that. Oh, and the women are not off the board either, because the women be doing some dastardly stuff too. Yeah. But that's because the men make them do that. So I'm dropping the link in a minute. Hold on, Brother Pinero. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was that the what was it? Florida has some stuff going on, and I don't know. Pretty Gangsta says she thinks it's CIG. At this point, because I'm like, what else is going on? I didn't see it. I didn't see any clips, so I don't really know what the images were. I know Brother Pinero sent me something, and that was looking crazy, and I was like, that looks like a Titan. Then today, before I got on with you guys, I saw somebody post up a clip of lightning storms, and there's like these giants walking behind the clouds, if you will. And I was just like, I don't know. And then New York City had a small earthquake of 1.7 in the borough of Queens, and it didn't do damage control, but it shook a few buildings and stuff. But it was on a small scale, but that certain areas in that neighborhood felt it. And so they show you this scale, or this place map rather, and where the exact earthquake took place. And I'm like, it was such a weird little spot. And I'm like, what would? So some people, the initial thought was there was an explosion. A couple of weeks back, our lights dimmed in and out for like a few seconds. And so I thought it was a ghost in my house. So I'm telling my son, I'm like, did you see that light? And he's like, yeah. He's like, the Wi-Fi, the motor went out. So he's rebooting. My youngest is sleeping. And then it zipped again really quickly. And I was like, what the hell? So I'm going online to look to see, on the news and see if there's any reports. Nothing. The next day, the reports came in that there was, from our electrical company, there was some kind of blip, or no, there was an explosion. It was a small explosion in the electrical company in another borough, but it hit all the boroughs and even certain areas out of state, like New Jersey. So for this earthquake to then happen, when was it? It wasn't even a month, because that happened when did that happen? That happened the first week of December, that little flash light thing happened. And yeah, I guess it was a whole month. So I was like, they trying to do something. You're not going to tell me that was an earthquake, but they're telling us it's an earthquake. Now they're telling us it's an earthquake. So I don't know. I'm really on some old, my skepticism level is at an all-time because I don't know what is. I can only go on my intuition at this point, because what do they say? Seeing is believing, but I'm not believing what I see anymore, because I don't know, because there's certain people that can generate and make shit up and make it happen and can get away with it, right? So who am I to say that giants weren't walking across the sky the other night? Who am I to say that there weren't aliens lurking somewhere down in Florida? I don't know. Shit's just getting a little out of hand is all I gotta say. All right, I'm gonna drop the link. I've been on this long enough. Usually I'm out. I have the link down already in like 20 minutes. But no, I just had to get that out. All right, so the link is up. You guys can come through. Remember, use code words, right? When we're talking about certain things, because But Oh, and there was a earthquake that happened in Japan as well. There was an earthquake that happened in Japan. I think I want to say during Christmas or the week of Christmas, there was an earthquake. So I'm like, all right, something's going on. And then we get this earthquake here in New York City. And I was just like, wow, this is something. I mean, the earthquake in Japan was a 7.6. So that's an earthquake, and that's a sizable one. That's damage control. Over 50 lives were taken. I'm sure there's more to come, with the rubble and everything. And New York City does sit on a large, what do they call it? Crater. Is it crater? It sits on a fault line, just like San Andreas. It's very similar, the fault lines. And it goes from Maine down to the Appalachian Mountains. So, anything is possible. The more digging that they keep doing here in New York City, putting up buildings and skyscrapers, debating, it's plausible for some type of tremor to happen. And I think that's more so what it was than like an actual earthquake on that, but they'll say earthquake. I think it was more just that, like the moving and the shifting, digging and stuff that they're doing, in New York City. And you got to remember, it's a very old city, and they have pounded on concrete on top of concrete on top of concrete, with buildings on top of buildings and sky risers on top of sky risers. That, I mean, how much more could the actual bedrock take? That it is possible that there could have been some type of, tremor, earthquake, and not like a conspiracy where, oh my God, Japan happened. It just seemed that way. And that's why I was like, what the hell's going on? So there's the link, guys. If you want to come up and talk about what's been going on lately, you can. And let me see for those that I missed. Okay. Pretty Gangster says you got to speak like you're a first grader. Exactly. Because what? Don't talk too intelligent now. What was the other thing? Oh, the other thing that was going on that I was watching was rapper MC Shan basically clapped back at Dr. Umar, because Dr. Umar has said, I think he went on Joe Budden's podcast and was saying that, why are you giving Eminem the GOAT status? Well, that didn't fly so right with some of the rappers. And if you know who Dr. Umar is, you know that he is Pan-African, right? Whatever that means. And he's for Black liberation. But you have to, like, his whole ideology is kind of like, it's not floating too much now, because even like Africans are like, what does that all mean? Right. And so MC Shan was like, who is this guy? Like, how dare Eminem has a right to be in that category because he can rap his ass off. Doesn't matter the complexion of his skin. Dr. Umar wasn't having all that. My brother Maybach's in the building.
Salute. What's going on? What's going on?
Salute.
Grand afternoon. Great afternoon.
Peace and
I'm here
power.
for about. I'm here up to like at least 1:30. I don't know how long you're gonna be, but I got two
Whenever you
meeting. Yeah, I got two meetings on Zoom I gotta do.
okay.
Um,
So
yeah,
what's
around
good with you?
1:30. Everything's good, man. Can't complain. I don't know if you received any Happy New Year's, but I will say Happy New Year. For me, it's
Thank
not
you.
a new year. For us Haitians and us Zos, it's a happy independence for us. Because we the only ones to defeat Napoleon's punk ass. Excuse my French. And middle fingers up to the French colonizers that said we can't have our squash soup when we was enslaved. That's why we celebrate every January 1st with eating squash soup. That's why all Haitians all around the world, when January 1st come, for about at least a few days, we eat our squash soup, which in Creole we call it soup jo mou. You know what I'm saying? Yep. JOUMOU. Yep.
So did you
But
make it? You have it
yeah,
or what?
yes, definitely make it every year. Different people use different meats in it. You can
Mm-hmm.
use beef. You can use beef chunks. Some people don't put no meat at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, like I said, it's orange squash soup. And you put some ziti, some spaghetti in it. Cut up some cabbage. It's very good. It got us Haitians our strength up. So if it's kind of like how
Yeah,
when people are sick out here, they eat Campbell's soup. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah.
It
So that's
sounds
all it does. Yeah, it gave us power, gave us strength, and they didn't want us to eat it while they were eating it, and stuff
right.
like that. So, yep. So yeah, I heard you talk about some of the stuff, the Miami thing. I just find it funny, right? Like I said, let me ask you a question, right? Um, if it's just teenagers, right, that's having a
Yeah.
fight, teenagers, which I've had a brawl like that at a mall that's 20 minutes away from me, and it was in the newspaper, it was in the news. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have that many police officers show up, right? So one, and more than four of us got arrested. At least like 19 of us got arrested. They're saying in Miami only 14 got arrested. They was not just fighting, they was letting off firecrackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you shut down Miami International Airport? You following me? I know you following me. You
Mm-hmm.
following me, right? There's no creatures. It's just teenagers fighting. Teenagers just having a brawl, just having a, what we would call a whoop ass. Excuse my
Mm-hmm.
French, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you shut down Miami International Airport? That's the second time I'm gonna say that, right?
Right.
Third thing I'm gonna say, why would you shut off the electricity to the mall and surrounding communities if it's only teenagers having a fight, a brawl, whatever you want to call it, at the mall? Bayside Mall is the exact name of the mall in Miami. Bayside Mall. So you shut down a major airport, not a little airport, major. That's why it's got the word international in it. Why would you
Right.
shut down? Yeah, why would you shut down the airport if it's just teenagers having a fight? See, people, man, listen. We can't save everyone. I understand that. Everyone doesn't have the same level of education. Everyone doesn't have the same level of understanding or overstanding to things.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But
Right.
come on, people. Like when you look at, like, you got people saying there was black helicopters with
So wait.
no with
So hold on,
go
because
ahead.
I didn't see or hear. I heard a murmur about this Florida thing. So
Hmm.
take us back. Take me back to when this alleged incident happened,
Hmm.
and what was the details, like really what was going on.
Well, they say what you want. You want
Yeah, like,
my truth?
when did no. When did it happen? Because I didn't
Oh,
hear.
it happened. From what I was told, it happened on New Year's, but they just
Mm,
released it. Yeah, they just released like footages of it, and stuff
and
like
what did
that,
the
right?
footage just show? What did the footage show?
Well, I mean, there's a footage that I seen. They showed like some type of shadow thing walking,
Mm,
but I'm gonna put it like this. Like my daddy always said, only liars want to silence the truth, right? So I'm
mhm.
gonna go off of that and say they're saying that shadow that we all see that looks suspect, they're saying it's actually a person that was walking. And if you look further down on the footage, you will see the actual person walking. Now I've seen multiple, at least like 10 videos. I do not see any person walking. You just see this kind of like, figure with their spotlights shining on this figure, and this thing is walking, and it doesn't look human to me. Don't look human to me. Again, I wasn't there. I'm in Massachusetts. I wasn't there. But from what a lot of people are coming on these social media platforms, Facebook, IG, TikTok, they're saying when they try to talk to some of the reporters and tell the reporters the real account and what really happened, of course, the reporters, we're gonna shut off the camera, and
Mm,
stuff like that. Yeah, shut the cameras off. You know what I mean? And stuff. Like I said, like I put in the chat earlier, I posted the list with the major names on it, and they hit me with that. They didn't remove it. They just was like, oh, our fact checkers checked your information, and your information is false. Again, only liars wants to silence the truth. If it's
was
a
that
fake,
was
huh?
that on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. Now, my thing is this. If it's a fake list, right? This is what they telling me. They saying it's a fake list. Why would you put a band on it? Why would you suppress it? Why would you know what I'm saying? Like, you could still see it. At the bottom of the message, it says this, what is it? It said this post is an appropriate or something like that. But then there's this little box that when you click on the box, you could still see the list. So it's not like they completely removed it. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So, yeah.
And
Come on.
this is regarding Epstein.
Yes, the names and stuff like that. And this is another thing pertaining to the list.
Mm-hmm.
They doctorate up the list.
Right.
And there's a guy who's running for president. I forgot the gentleman's name. He said, we don't want a doctored up list. So you're only going to put out 200 names, but let's just say there's 500. They only want to show 200 of the names, but not the other 3.
Right.
Things that make you go, why would they waste their time to do that? You know what I'm saying? Because they already know the names on it. Now, going back to your Cat William thing, this is how I look at things. Maybe it's the Libra, maybe it's just me individually, how I dissect things.
You just had to throw the Libra in there, didn't you?
Oh, I got to do that. I got to do that. So you got the message that I sent you, right? You remember yesterday the message I sent? I'm saying to myself, this is not news to us, to the people who've been paying attention and the people who, actually have their eyes open and, is looking at certain things from, hey, that doesn't look like what they presented. This man's been exposing. He's been exposing. Like you just mentioned, he talked about the mansion parties that he went to, and he saw Professor Overby. Remember? That's the infamous joke.
Yes,
Professor Overby was in that room doing something.
Right.
Okay? So this is not news. To me, I look at it like, y'all making this trend. And like how you said, Sugar Shay Shay, the very next day said he didn't think, like he's getting a bunch of messages and texts like, yo, you're trending, your show's trending and stuff like that. To me, it's just taken away from the real things that's happening. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you've seen what happened the first day of this year, what happened in Japan and other places. What's going on? Floods, earthquakes. We had major earthquakes even in New York and Massachusetts that some people said they felt. I didn't feel anything, but some people saying they felt it depending on where you was at in your state, whether it was New York, Connecticut, Mass, Philly, they said as well, Philly. So all of these things is happening and no one is talking about that. But everyone wants to talk. To me, it's just like, yo, like, what are we doing here? Y'all sheeples.
Well,
You know what I'm
just like
saying? You just
just
come on.
just mentioned, she says it's controlled media.
Correct. Definitely.
So what
Definitely is.
they want you to know is what they're going to give you.
Correct.
What is what going to give you. And like you mentioned with that list, I mean, people were getting excited. Like it was a Super Bowl Sunday lineup.
I heard you say
Rubbing their hands to see who's on the list. And I said, you'd be so disgusted if you found out who really was on the list. Because it'd be your top 5 that's on there.
Well, I'll piggyback off of you and say the only people that would be disgusted would be the people who look up to these people.
That part.
You understand? And idolize these people. To you and I and the rest of the folks who I don't like saying woke, but who are awake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who are awake. We're going to use that word. That word is definitely much better than woke. But you know, who's been paying attention, who's been knowing what the no is, you know, we're not going to be shocked or surprised. We're going to be like, oh, finally, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Finally,
Right.
You know, little clips that I've seen, they more focusing on Trump, of course, because, you know, this is election year.
Exactly.
They put out a little clip about Michael Jackson being there. Who knows? And then there's one more other person. But if you watch the whole entirety of
Clinton.
Cat, yeah, Biden was there too. Biden, the Clintons. Oh, Clinton is actually suing Vanity Fair because Vanity Fair did an article about him being on the plane and being at the island, and now he's taking action on them, and it just makes you wonder why. Why you suing Vanity Fair? You know, but you know they don't want it out to the masses, and we all know why they don't want it to the masses.
And,
You know,
and wasn't this list already out there? But it wasn't. Now they're saying it's publicly for public viewing. But I thought that the list was out there like a couple of years back.
The list came out, but you gotta remember, right? With the girlfriend, Mac, what's her name again? Maxine or whatever. To me, I don't care about the list. I want to know the names in the black book. That's what's important. Now I'm gonna take you back. You remember Heidi? Not Heidi Klum. That's the actress. The chick who was the madam. Her first name was Heidi.
Yeah.
Remember? Her part of her deal was to take this plea, do some time, do this and do that, but I'm not going to expose the names in the black book, right? They kept that suppressed. So to me, it's forget about the list, because the list is supposed to be, just be
flight list like that.
That's yes, the people. Yes. Yeah. So like, let's just say we rented out his plane. Like you just said, our names would be on there because we used his plane to get from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we wouldn't never have access because you got to be in their special club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be granted access. You know, but yeah, I want to know what's the names in the black book. That's more important to me.
I mean, this is all just so wild. It is an election year, so they're gonna put out all the bells and whistles to sway people one way or the other. They have been trying to crucify Donald Trump since he was out of office, and you know, people ask that question of who would you want rather, the lesser two evils. At this point, I don't give a hot damn because they, you know, Trump, he served this purpose and he opened the floodgates up for a lot of things as far as with politics goes. So he did his job. If he comes back, I don't think there's much that he can do because they try to stop him from really like making America great again.
Correct. It's because
And
he exposed a lot of them. That's the real
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
You know.
So it's like at this point, the wheels are off the rail now. So it would be a lot to, him just being there is just a figurehead. It means nothing. Like King Charles, just seeing him there, it means nothing. When she died and Trump was out of office, that's it. That's the end of whatever. Now all holds bar, no holds bar. Things can happen. This president that they have here, I don't even know who's the next after Trump and him, because all they're talking about is just Trump and Biden. So I don't know who the third or fourth person is in running.
Which never made sense to me, that they have all these political parties, but it's always only one and two that always runs against
Yeah.
each other. You know,
And Trump,
yeah.
and Biden, he's halfway into, half one foot in, half one foot out of the world. So he's definitely clearly not a leader that you would want to have for another 4 years. And I know, and people are seeing this now. They're finally realizing, oh my God, this is a disaster. He's a disaster. But y'all all put him there. That's what you wanted, because you thought that Trump was the evil one. When Trump was actually really just trying to make America great again. And not so much for the good old boys, because a lot of people, here come the black, he racist, and as soon as they got money with him, oh no, he's good. Listen, Trump has always been, I wouldn't call him a racist. He might be a bigoted, but right. Trump always rolled with the so-called black person, and especially celebrities. In particular, rappers.
There's tons of photos of him being around Arsenio Hall.
Tons of photos.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wouldn't be quick to call him a Ku Klux Klan member, but I'm sure he's made some bigoted remarks here and there. But his end goal was, let's get all our businesses back into America. Let's get the jobs rolling for our American citizens. Let's close out these borders and keep our shit in our house. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I didn't vote for him, but I didn't see anything that he said was wrong.
Correct.
That made sense to me. Why are we doing business with other people when we have the major resources here? Why would we do that? So now the wheels are, they're run off the rails, and stuff is looking real shaky. Somebody said there'll be another war coming. Well, newsflash, we're in a quiet war now.
Correct.
And newsflash, we're in a recession. Don't let TikTokers and YouTubers trick you into thinking that's the way to get the bag. Because at the end of the day, we still need people, ground workers out there doing the job. That's a facade that they have you thinking, oh, I can make $1,000, doing TikTok skits and doing that. Sure, teenagers. But don't you be some 20-something, 30-something-year-old thinking you're going to be the next influencer on YouTube and you got money. No, get your ass out and get a real job. Work your ass off. Because this is only for a moment. And when that goes, you're still going to be needed on the ground and doing work.
That's how I feel.
Oh, but they got robots here doing this stuff. They don't got robots for every man. We outnumber them. And if you let that fear captivate you, you're going to be like the sheep.
That's what gets me upset, is that, the Shade Room, oh yeah, Krishan Rock and Blueface. Then you get this one content creator. Oh yeah, I gotta do a show about Krishan Rock and Blueface. Like, dude, I don't care if you get 1,200 views. You think that's some serious money? Like, you get what I'm
Feeding
saying?
off of each other, which that's like parasitical. I'm feeding
Yeah,
off
it's
of
like
one. That's the
it's like every notification or it's on your timeline, you got like 30 content creators from the age of, I'll say like 25 up to about like 55,
right.
all talking about the same damn thing. And it's just like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, we got real things, real current events you can cover. Okay, you may
Right.
not get the traction that you want, but at least you can enlighten, your type of people. Oh, I didn't know this was going on. I didn't know that's is happening. And that's how it works. But you got people that, oh yeah, Cat Williams. It's just like, yo, listen, man, there's too many of y'all covering it. You know what I'm saying? It's so saturated. It's just like, yo, by the time you're covering it, you're not getting even the views that the first and second, third one did, because it was at that time. You get what I'm saying? That's why I don't care about my channel. And people think that I really, oh, you have to care. Like, why do I care? That's not my bread and butter. I got a real life. I'm into real estate. I do home improvement. I do home renovation. You know what I'm saying? I got brands. I got clothing brands. That's my money. That's where my main focus. YouTube is just a hobby for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because if that was the case, I would be doing entertainment. I got a sports channel. I would be into the sports, just like you said. Once I learned the truth about sports, I don't look at it the same. Remember, I told you my team would lose and I would be emotional. I would be heated when my team lost. My day, you couldn't talk to me. My day was ruined, but once I learned what sports is really about, it's another form of distraction. Now I look at it different. Shoot, the Patriots lost yesterday. It did not affect me. My children was like, Daddy, your team lost. I'm like, yeah, I know. Let me put it on cartoons for y'all. Flip, chick the channel. Back then, I would have been like, leave it alone. You know what I mean? Like, I look at things different. It's not important. It's a form of distraction. It's entertainment for the for the higher ups, like you like to say, the powers that shouldn't be. And I like how you flipped it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people just being repetitive with everything. Repetitive. Oh, this one is wearing, tight clothes. That's fashion. Okay, I'm not gonna go do no research and find out, like you said earlier with the Fendi. I just learned that a few months ago. Fendi, Louis, and Gucci got their designs and patents from African tribes in Africa. So, bro, you want to give Gucci and Louis all that money? Why don't you just take a flight to the motherland and you can get it for cheap on the dollar? Because that's where they steal their designs from. I didn't know that. So it's funny you mentioned that. Because of what Cat was wearing. You was like, yeah, he got the Fendi, and people don't know the patent came from an African, I forgot what you said, but it comes from an African tribe in the motherland. That's where this come from. That's why they said everything. What is it? What's the saying again? Nothing new is under the sun, and that's a fact. It's new to your eyes. It's new to you, but it came from somewhere else. Like you said, a lot of the stuff, whether it's the laws in this land, is all from the Roman Empire. That's why they always say, oh, so where's Babylon? Well, Babylon, when they say Babylon's gonna fall, that's America. That's America. Because if you look at every civilization, had their ups and then they had their fall. Right. That's why they said, yeah, it's gonna be Babylon. So who's Babylon? Is it this one? No, it's America. But listen, man, like I said, I'd rather be called a conspiracy theorist and paying attention to things that is meaningful. Yes, fact. Then to be paying, Foxy, you see what's going on with Krishan Rock and Blueface? What do I give a god, about them? Me paying attention to them is not helping me in real life. It's not going to help my children in real life. But this is what people want to do. It's different strokes for different folks. And I ain't talking about the show, what you're talking about, Willis, and Arnold, but it's the facts. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather put an upload about the Epstein thing and only get 8 views. So what? You know what I do? To each person that liked that view, the 8 view, I salute them. Hey, I appreciate you for taking the time, because you could have been doing anything else. You get what I'm saying? I don't care about no views. My fault. Go ahead. That was my rant. My fault. You told me to hold it for today. I couldn't hold it.
I said, hold it for today. Hold it for today. Salute Wally. Wally's in the building.
Salute, Wally. Salute. Yeah, I was gonna get to him, man.
on?
I just had to finish my rant. My fault. But go ahead, Wally. My fault. My fault, brother.
Nah, you good, man? What's going on? Happy New Year to all y'all.
Same to you, man. How you?
Yeah, man. I'm good. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff.
Did you see the Cat Williams interview, Wally?
So I didn't see I didn't see everything in its entirety, but I know of it in every other formatable way. So
all right, so tell me what your take on of the part that you saw.
So I mean, for most of it, I mean, look, there's a lot of things being said. I mean, I understand, like, you know, one way or the other is like, okay, you know, pick and choose of how things went down as far as a lot of things. Like,
yeah,
what he's saying about Cedric Alexander stealing the joke, I'm like, in my head, like, well, yeah, but guess what? Bernie Mac been said that a long time ago. Like, you can go dig up an old interview of him saying the same thing, like, hey, you better be mindful of how you know, sharing your stuff, because that could happen. But the thing is, we all know too, like, hey, guess what? How much times have we heard in these spaces, you know, hey, man, you stole my talking point, you know, yin yang yo. I'm like, okay, well, put it in a book.
That part.
Lock it up. Make it your part of your ownership, so it doesn't be taken. So anytime someone were to use it, you get money off of that. But y'all don't do that anyway. So it's like y'all complain about things that's already said and done. Like, I get it, right? Like, Cedric could have quote unquote masked it to make it his own little thing, because the way how he would have mix and match it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I mean, shoot, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But I mean, even then, if there's some decency of integrity between y'all as comedians,
right,
you would have been like, you know what? Hey, look, man, I did use your joke, and here's some money for it. I'm sorry, but you know, yin yang yo, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? If there's some decency and respect for y'all, knowing how hard it is to get into the business, you would have did that. So that in itself, that sort of, you know, just hearing that, it just made it seem like even more how shady the game is.
Mm-hmm.
To really get in where you fit in,
right?
Because it's like that moment you get that dry, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, you're gonna be using another comedian's joke just to motherfucking get a rise. I'm like, oh, come on. But you know, pick and choose.
But think about it, even with writers and rappers, you know, back in the day, like what we would call what is that called? What is that? Oh my God, when you're battle rap, right? You would take something that they said and make it into yours, but like flip it. Like, so nothing is when it comes to that type of industry, I don't feel like nothing's off the table. But you did say an important thing, and the key word is integrity. If I knew that you said you did your bit, you did your skit, and I know that's yours, I know that's Wally's, I'm not going to go behind and say something similar when I know that's you. Like, you made that up for sure. It's not like you made it you made it your own because you heard Maybach say something and then you made it your own, and I knew that you took that from Maybach. No, you made it your own, and then me go behind you and then say that, that's disrespectful. And I guess that's what Pat was trying to convey. But I don't know, like, for me, the interview, I didn't really get the hype of what everybody was saying. As I mentioned earlier, I felt, if anything, a little uncomfortable watching it for some reason. Like, I felt there was this, because Cat he's a weird little guy. He's funny, but and sarcastic, but you can tell there's pain. He hides his pain with comedy. And as he said, I was 13 when I left my house. And Shay was trying to get into what was going on in his family, and he was like, well, I didn't tell you that it was an altercation. I said that we had an incident, like he tried to rephrase the words. So clearly It was deep stuff that was going on in his life. And for a 13-year-old to leave home and not just go to grandma's house, but go to a whole nother state or way far down south, says a lot. So like I was like analyzing it in that respect, and from that point I shifted gears with watching him as Cat the comedian talking about entertainment, to this is a man that's hurt, and it's
And
not
Shay
funny.
should have asked him more about that part himself.
He knew not to. He knew he already
No, but
made
see,
it.
guess what though? But see, me as a fan of Cat, that's one of my top three. Dave, Cat, and Martin. Those three guys. Not saying they better than everybody. Those are my guys. Seen them live in performance. I love their performance. But to me, I would have loved to heard that story about him, because that I didn't really know about him. So if you look at, if I watched the interview at least 4 times, Shannon Sharp he was tipsy in the thing. He was tipsy, and you could tell he was tipsy the way he was giggling, not even laughing. He was giggling, and like you said, sugar Shay. But that he should have tapped into
How
that.
do you name your show Shay? Like that's a never mind.
Yeah, suspect. No, it's not even just that. You could just look at his attire that he's wearing, and you could tell. Huh?
Very tight.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, when did we do this? When, man, we could get into a whole spill about like how you said, right? When you brought up the RuPaul, I had watched a not a documentary, but somebody did a video talking about they had put RuPaul there to push that on the masculine men. It didn't work with him. Then years later, I think maybe about 25, 30 years later, comes Medea, and Medea was pushing that, and like he said, it's a great point. How come in every role you've played, you never played a man, like who you really are? You've always, like, listen, man, at the end of the day, I never thought Steve Harvey was funny. This is my honest to God truth. I never cared for Steve Harvey. Never thought he was funny. Yes, when he talks about country jokes, it's funny to me, because I lived in the South. So I can relate to some of the stuff that he talks about. That's it. Other than that, when he did his show, I was one of the guys was like, yo, this is just like Mark Curry's show. It reminded me. And then that's a guy who was exposing it. We're in a time where, again, when you tell the truth, oh man, Maybach, you're hating. And it's just like, how am I hating? Foxy stole my bit. Yeah, Foxy stole my bit. How am I hating? They was like, oh, Mark Curry, you've been out of the limelight for years. And that's why I've been watching Comedy Hype, because these stories to me was not new. It wasn't shocking or surprise. If you watch Comedy Hype is dedicated to all and every comedian, females and the males, and they tell you backstories that we would never ever heard about. You get what I'm saying? So I've been knew Mark Curry been exposing what's his name, Steve Harvey, and like he said, and which Kwame Brown did kind of come up with it. He didn't come up with the phrase, but he dubbed it and made it come back. It is a get along gang. You know what I'm saying? And when you go against or you go to the left, you're like, man, I'm not going with y'all. I'm not following y'all. I'm gonna go to the left. Now it's like, yeah, because like Cat Williams said, he got arrested, but never been convicted for anything. But yet, I remember when Kevin Hart was on the Breakfast Club bashing this man and was like, you know why Cat Williams is saying all this stuff about me, guys? It's because he had a bunch of opportunities and he fumbled the bag because he was high on the nose candy. And that's a lie, homie. You knew that was a lie. And you couldn't even tell. Like, bro, what's her name? Kelly Clarkson was just on his show. Kelly Clarkson was exposing the industry. She said she was offered millions on millions of dollars to do certain things that went against her morals and integrity. And Cat, you know what homeboy did, Kevin? He was like, shh. She's like, what? Why are you telling me to be quiet? And then she whispered, oh, you got offered too? And he's like, he didn't even answer that, but he said, yo, the people you're talking about, they basically around. Because he's got his own little podcast through Peacock or whatever. Man, you could tell that man been so, like, man, that's another thing about Kevin Hart. He sends writers to amateur shows and pick up some of, like, let's just say Foxy's up there doing a stand-up, to take a piece of her stand-up. Wally goes up there, he does his stand-up, take a piece from Wally's stand-up. I go up there third, and this is known. This is a fact. But Cat Williams exposing it. Oh, he's just hating. He's hating. And then Ludacris. Everybody's responding in a normal fashion, and you want to rap? That's telling me, bro, what he said about you is the truth. It's a fact.
Now, I ain't
Come
gonna
on,
lie.
man.
Now, see, that was another part I wanted to talk about, because, I mean, that's like a 50-50 thing for me, because it's like, on one side, I understand where you can go at with that, but it's like on another side, I'm like, I mean, that's a pick and choose, because, like, let's be real here. Because for me, I say it like this. If you, quote unquote, are labeling someone to be a part of the, the inner sanctum, right?
Right.
Of the world, wouldn't you not be known as the hottest rapper then? Wouldn't you not be known as probably top 15, top 10, top 5? I mean, I'm just being honest when I say that, because it's like, if you were really in that, you would be up there, because Jay-Z's up there, and he's
correct.
Right.
So let's be.
Correct.
So my thing is, when he hit him with that, when he hit him with that quota, I was like, nah, I don't see that, bro. Because let's be honest, man, no one hasn't given Luda that credit, man. Because people would say, oh, the reason why Luda don't got the credit that he should have is because he was being too much of a, he was being too comedian with it.
That's animated.
Animated. That's the thing that they hit him with. But I'm like, well, wait a minute, hold up, that's bullcrap. Because didn't Eminem do the same shit? So
well, he's saying when he exposed what's his name, it was more on the movie role.
So I'm gonna segue into that part, Wally, because I don't know if you heard, but Dr. Umar is getting backlash from MC Shan, because Umar went on, I believe it was Joe Budden's podcast, to say, why would you let this white boy, why would you call him the GOAT? Or even put him in that type of status when he's not.
Correct.
And the only reason why Umar has an issue is because he's white. It's because Eminem is white. So MC Shan took to social media and, blasted Umar and was like, I don't know who you are. You may be a doctor in this, but you have no right to speak on behalf of hip hop. Eminem is one of ours and he's up there and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, regardless if he's black or white, Eminem is nowhere near, not even in my top 10. The hype was he's kind of like the Luda, like he's like, it is a little, he may have some bars here and there, but I mean, I'm not gonna put him as the greatest of all time.
No, so look, but my thing is like, okay, but this is my whole point with that, right? Because it's like, even when then, right? Okay, so like, let's touch on that right there, because my whole standpoint with that is this: is like, I'm not gonna sit here and trying to gatekeep something that no one in the black community owns. We may have started the wave, but we don't own this wave.
Yep.
And until you don't belong to us. And let's be real, until you motherfucking start making labels where you do own it, you can't say shit about it like that. It's like it's every man for himself out here.
Correct.
And let's be honest. And if you really want to sit here and say, "Oh well, Eminem shouldn't be a freaking part of it," well, last time I checked, who signed Eminem? A black man. So fuck out of here with all that shit.
Yeah. No, but like you said, right?
But who signed the black man?
Hey, by all means, but I'll say this though.
So it never.
In fairness, so he's
Jimmy Iovine.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Iovine. But my thing is, well, yeah. But before the Jimmy Iovine came into play, he eventually became his own man in the mix. But yeah. But all I'm saying is, it's like that. It's just, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, that also too. But you know what? See, but that's my thing with Joe Budden. It's like, Joe, you have a beef with a man that you have issues with, but at the same time, is this the same man that signed your ass with the rest of your crew, and you fall off? So whose fault is that? Eminem didn't put you on the back seat, right? You did that on your damn
one hit, right?
You did that to your damn stuff. You ain't that sweet like you think you have it,
right?
Listen, like you said, right, Wally? And I like the fact that you brought that up. The only thing, when I say we, whoever started hip hop, whatever, right? Rap, hip hop, it was only the 5 elements that they created. You had to have the DJ, the graffiti, the dance, the b-boy dancing. You get what I'm saying? That's it. But like you said, as far as the culture go, man, we didn't own it because Noriega had brought up something before Drink Champs took off, which I like, and I thought he was going to go that way, but I knew once he signed with Revolt, he finally went through that door. I don't care what anybody said, he finally went through that door that he used to talk about beforehand.
Pretty much.
Is that he said him and EFN wanted to create kind of like a union, right? A union for rappers because, you know, rappers be going to the hospital, you know, when they elderly, they can't pay for the bill. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is what Special Ed caught a little flack for. And Special Ed was like, I know how to put a hip hop concert together because I'm from the industry. I'm an artist that was in that industry. So I know who the masses want to watch perform, who they don't want to see perform. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's why I'm a great promoter. And the first thing and last thing that I make sure is every performer gets not just their just due, but they actually get paid as well. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, you got other people, and I didn't notice. He said, Rock the Bell. Yeah, LL's face is out there and his name is attached to it, but LL does not own it. And I'm like, wow, why is this still going on? And it's 50 years later and nobody's still owning nothing. And this is sad. So dudes is just in it to make as much money and get out. But it goes to a whole bunch of stuff with putting I generalize everything. We still like we could own land in this country. You really don't. Unless you buy the land in a third world country, that's really yours. Out here, we still got to pay tax. You got to pay this, you got to pay that. And this is facts. I'm in real estate. I'm not saying I know everything about it, but I know that much about it. Same thing with a mortgage. I had to learn a few months ago through a clear woman doing a TikTok video saying the only way you don't pay no more mortgage on your house when you buy the house is if you bury a loved one on the land, because that's what they used to do before World War II. You know what I'm saying? When there was no cemeteries.
Trump buried his ex-wife on the golf course.
Yes. And he doesn't have to pay nothing. They don't have to pay no taxes, no nothing. But like a friend said to me, this is why our parents didn't know this, because we're not in those clubs.
You know what you just remind me when you said that? Hey, maybe you know Batman, right? He did the same shit with his own parents.
Yes. Yes. And remember, going back to what you just said, right? Listen to what you just said, right, Wally? We've known this. We should all know this now because we grown up mentally, not just age-wise, but we should know this. They put stuff in cartoons and in movies. Let me just tell you something.
That part, Red Illusion.
What you call it?
In the building.
Salute. Aquaman 2. If y'all haven't seen Aquaman 2, watch it. I don't want to say too much, but I'm going to say this a little bit. They expose Antarctica in the movie. They expose reptilians in the movie. And they expose aliens in this movie, Aquaman 2. Now, why would they show you what really Antarctica looks like? And I'm talking about behind what we've been told of the ice wall and all this other stuff. If anybody knows about Admiral Byrd, what did Admiral Byrd said when he went down there? It was greenery, was no snow. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Just go watch Aquaman 2. Because you bringing up Batman when Batman buried, the parents on the property. Just watch that. They expose all of this. But people will tell you, oh, that's not real. It's a movie. It's cinematic, this and that. But no, they expose that. The sheeple will look at it and say, oh, this will never happen. Let me just say this. And I'm gonna end it with this. Because Foxy was talking about Trump may not be president for this year. Remember the show Simpsons and why Simpsons is still around to this day and is the only cartoon show that's been running for this long. They said the show has made predictions. Now, we know there's no such thing, but I digress. I'm going to just say this. There's an episode that they did long time ago shows that Trump is going to be president in 2024. And I made the post on my community wall for anybody that wants to go check it, just see that. But yeah, it's from the Simpson episode.
Yeah, I never look back at the Simpsons the same again. Every single time they call that, I'll just be like, you know what? Yeah, just put it in the bag. Because that's why I always sit here and say this idea that they get us this idea to pitch in to, you know, go out there and go vote for the president, when in reality, we don't really never vote for them at all. We're just a popularity vote of the census.
Facts.
So, but that's the whole thing. We keep on, you know, getting out there. We get hot-faced with the mother-loving thing by always knowing that we have to vote for these mofos, when in reality we don't never have to vote for these mofos. We have to vote for locals. We have to vote for the Senate and the Congress. That's all we really got to vote for. But they won't put them mofos on the TV because guess what? They're too fucking important, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And
I like
you're
what
right about
Illusion said in regards to land is only way you truly own lands is if you can defend it. And I've said this a couple of times on this platform. I've said this on other platforms. I said this to my family. The only way you're going to get what you want is you're going to have to fight for it. Mm-hmm. And that means blood, sweat, and tears. And half of these people are not ready for that. They are not ready to defend their land. Why? Because they are too comfortable and too cozy in what it is. You don't know what it's like to really be told what you have to do. You go to one of those countries out there, them communist countries out there, and you see what really goes down. This land, the corporation itself is whatever. I can't. There's so many words, but the land itself has got resources. And if you cannot go against the government in arms, if you can't go do a 1776 or revolt like in that status, sit down. Sit down, because you're not ready for that. All you do is talk tough Tony behind these computer walls and the phones. You're not ready for that type of lifestyle. So shut up, sit down, and just go along with the program.
It's crazy, like, you know, we're quick to attack one another. Oh, I wanna kill Wally for no apparent reason. I'm ready to kill this brother. I'm ready to crash out and do 25 years, right? But not fight a real fight. My fault. Go ahead.
I said, don't put that into the ethers. You know, words.
No. What I'm just saying is, we're ready to crash out on another person that looks just like us. Let's just say he's coming out the convenience store and I'm going inside the convenience store. He looks at me a certain way. Yo, what you looking at? All this aggression towards another brother for no apparent reason. But like I said on this platform before, if I call Tyrone, yo, Tyrone, you know what we doing? Arm up. Get the soldiers. We're going to the burg and we're knocking everything down in the... Hold up. Why are we doing that, Maybach? What's the reason? What happened? Questions, they want to grill you, like, and you know what I'm saying? Ask me all these questions. Why we got to do that? But if I say we going to the projects and we're going to light up the projects like it's the 4th of July, nobody's going to ask me any questions. Yeah, I'm ready. What should I bring? Should I bring the AR? Should I bring this? Should I bring that? You get what I'm saying? And that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
I mean,
like, that don't make no sense. My fault. I didn't mean that. Like, I really want to kill Wally knows it's all love.
No, yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, like, when you think about it, it's like the gladiator effect in a sense. It's like we're back in the good old days of the Greek world where, you know, we have our masters and then yet we're supposed to fight each other just because we're owned by them. And if we don't, we both get headed. We both get headed. The only problem is now that we don't have no masters. They're just doing it at will.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they already pre-programmed us, bro. They already pre-programmed us to hate each other. For me to hate Foxy, for Foxy to hate you. Go ahead.
No, I hear you saying, but the pre-programming, like, what is the pre-programming? At the bottom. Just being at the bottom.
Correct.
And especially in this society. So it's like, that itself, it just breeds like, okay, well, in this society, being at the bottom, you get disrespected, you get hated, like anyone else is better than you. But it's like, but because you're just at the bottom and someone else got a little something, they can do that. And it is just bullcrap. It's like it's a multitude of things. It's like you can take the same thing and think about school. Someone has better shoes than you, or they have the Nikes, the J's. Well, wait a minute, you can't be better than me. You didn't get that your damn self. Your mama got that for you. How the frick you gonna tell her and talk shit?
Right,
bro, you in the same boat as me. You ain't getting nothing without someone else help. Shut your ass down
materialistic things too. They acting like they about something just because they got something or they wearing something. Oh, I got these jeans cost me $2,000, man.
Right.
And then you like, yo, well, all right, that cost you $2,000. Well, with that same $2,000, you could have opened a Roth account. Oh, what is that? What is a Roth account? Yeah. Why don't you get enlightened? Why don't you follow me? Let's go learn some real information and save your money and have your money work for itself, so where you could fall back and not be a worker. You know what I'm saying? For this, like we said, corporation, because this corporation is training everybody to just be workers for the rest of their lives. And by the time you retire, you might have a bunch of medical problems. So now you can't enjoy your 401k. You can't enjoy your SSI.
Right,
you understand what I'm saying?
Like, they can't enjoy that 401k.
Yeah, facts. And what sense does this make? Y'all never question everything? Wally busts 40 hours. I do 60. Foxy does 50, right? We're getting taxed on them hours, right? We're working, busting our, ASS for the person to take taxes off us. Now we going to the grocery store. We getting taxed on that. We go to the clothing store. We being taxed on that. And just people are just living life. Like I said, when the thing happened 3 years ago, I had homies like, yeah, man, just call me whenever you need me. The same people I call, yo, we're about to go down to the downtown Boston in front of the Moderna building, and we gonna protest. Oh, yo, Maybach, you know what, man, I'm not feeling too good. Call the second person. Oh, man, you know what, I ain't got no time right now. I gotta roll a blunt. The third person. Oh, man, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. It's just like, oh, but you told me to pick up the phone and call you for a good cause. This is a great cause. Nobody's around. You see what I'm saying? And when I go down there, there's more clear folks than people that look like me down there. I'm not saying there wasn't no people, that look like me, melanated folks down there, but it's more of them than it is us. Same thing, my city, big march downtown and throughout the hood. For who? Palestine. What does Palestine ever did for me? No disrespect to any Palestinians that's watching this or listening to this. Much love and respect. But what have y'all done for me? You know what I'm saying? Did you march for me? Did you stand up for me? So why would I go downtown and go march for these people when they got their own issues? They've been having their own issues. And that's the problem. We like, oh man, listen, man, it's just sad. And it goes back to the hip hop. We could talk about hip hop. We let too many people into our house, man. And people are just throwing their feet up on our couch. You know what I'm saying? Coming in with mud trails and all this other stuff, just disrespecting us. And that's the problem with us melanated folks. We're too accepting of a bunch of people. And this is why we're getting disrespected left and right. Like, come on, man. This president just letting people in. I don't care if they're Haitian. I'm fucking Haitian. I'm American Haitian. Excuse my French. But I don't give a damn about the ones coming over. If they ain't my family, I don't give a damn. So they get $9,000 a month. And we're sitting here like, this is what I'm saying. And nobody wants to talk about these things or even take a stand. But they want to talk about it all day long. Oh, foreigners is getting money. The immigrants is getting this, they're getting that. Well, why don't you do something about it? Like Wally said, Tupac got an infamous recording that says, yo, forget about voting for the president. The only control we have is the select men, select women, the congressmen and the congresswomen, the governor, the mayor in our city, in our state. That's what we can control. We can't control outside of that.
But you know
what?
People
just
this is the biggest picture made back, right? The biggest picture. I guarantee you. Tell the whole United States country that don't vote. I guarantee you they're still gonna vote someone to be president. Why? But then my thing is, well, then think about it. If they're still gonna vote someone to be president, then who gives a fuck what the fuck we vote? Who the fuck we vote for? Y'all gonna pick them anyways. And you're gonna pick them off of what? Nothing. Because they're not gonna give you nothing. Who's behind them? No one.
Correct.
So how y'all picking them? Literally, how are y'all picking these mofos? Oh,
and wait, it's not. Right. It's the money. You just said it. It's the money.
Underlying freaking association. I ain't gonna say what it is because, of course, they'll say conspiracy theories, so you know how it is. But
yeah, correct.
But even then, it's just like the whole.
It's the money. It's
crazy.
the money that gets the person in. If Foxy and I get a group of people to fund you, to fund you, Wally, you could be. Dick Gregory broke it down and said he won. He won, and he was shocked that he won. But of course, he didn't become president. But he won. He got enough votes. You see what I'm saying? He basically showed you like anybody could win. Like you said, it's not really who's even selected. It's the money that's backing you. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
come on, man.
This is what I'm saying.
Like-
Like a lot of people, like, think about it. A lot of the new fresher people that are trying to quote unquote be presidents or just be officials, they will never get in because why? Because the paper trail of these names and their quote unquote bloodline are always attached to this freaking presidency, and they will always stick in line. Always, it will never change hands.
Correct. That's a fact.
That's what they do over there in the UK. You not.
They follow it. They follow it.
You're not going to tell. You're not going to tell. Well, they own. We're their little latchkey.
Yeah, that's
kid.
what I meant to say. Correct.
But you're not going to tell me that Meghan Markle was by some miraculous blind date and a friend of a friend was hooking Harry up. I'm not buying that. Because history predicts them all in the same bloodlines together. You can go back and see. That's how they kept. That's why they call it the Blue Bloods, because they wanted to keep their bloodline less tainted, not realizing that they were actually causing more genetic issues by doing that. But that's how they do, and that's what they do with the president. So that's why you see Bush and Obama are related, and I believe
Which
Clinton,
is the most funniest-ish ever.
It is. That's how it. And I think Trump might have been the only one that was the disturber, the usurper of them all. And when he, as a Pretty Gangster mentioned earlier, he said drain the swamp. Yeah, that's what his intention was, to drain the swamp. And when the swamp was drained, it exposed a lot of things that we're dealing with now to this day. So, if he does get into office, I don't know how much. Like I said, the wheels are off the rails now. There's so much damage control that's been done that it's going to be hard to pull back. What he originally wanted to do was keep everything in America. But that's their game. That's what they do. The politicians and the actors and the rappers, not all, but most are in bed with each other. Like Red said, it's one hand washing the other. It's on design that they put these rappers in there. They put these actors out there to engage you. And The Color Purple was the other thing. Why would me personally? I liked the movie, but I never read the book. I didn't go see the play. I didn't go see this new one. And that was the other thing most people were raving about. Listen, there's a reason why that movie is the antebellum slave type narrative that they keep putting out for you. And most people keep running back to it. So it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. You just can't get enough of it because it's embedded in your brain. And because Whoopi Goldberg is the poster child, you gonna go for it. But you don't realize that she's up there on the list. These actors are all put up here for a reason, so that they can keep us in line. Same thing with the rappers. KRS One said, I'm not going to the Grammys. You now want to call me after 50 years because it's 50 years of hip hop to come on the Grammys? You couldn't tell me this at year 49 or year 17. You asking me to come on the Grammys now? That and he's like, hip hop that's not even us. So for anybody to keep like Umar, still battling I get his consensus when it comes to certain things regarding what you call Black people, but in all actuality, everything is a melting pot at this point. And Umar, I mean, he may have some African ancestry somewhere down the line, but you can't just go to bat and hold that one ancestor up compared to all the other ancestors. Who was your mother's mother? Who was your father's father, father's mother, all that stuff. Like, you can't just take one African ancestor out of everyone and be like, you African, and that's it. Like, I have to learn that. Like, it's not just one particular, because then I'm doing disservice whether I liked that European ancestor being in the family bloodline or not. That's what it is. So when you're talking about Black culture, it was the so-called Black person, the indigenous people here of America that created a lot of stuff. But it was the Europeans and the white Europeans that co-opted this, what you call rap music. So yeah, it hurts our heart to hear that, but that's the bitter truth. Like, yeah, it was the little Black boys and Black and Puerto Rican boys in the Bronx doing the breakdance moves and cutting the music. But because they didn't know any better, and they're looking at white guys from Wall Street coming through like, oh, you got something. Oh, and let's not forget Russell Simmons pimped out the whole culture to the white boy, who's a Black man, right? He pimped out our so-called rap culture to the white man, and then they capitalized on it, and we've never gotten it back. And now he's out in where? Dubai or something, or not Dubai. He's in India somewhere because he's been accused of being a deviant to little girls. So you know what? Y'all can have all that. For me, rap died when Pac died. That's it. Everything else after that is co-opted.
Pretty much.
And, yeah, go ahead, Wally.
No, I was agreeing with what you were saying because, like, let's be real here. Like, I mean, for me, I say it like this: like, just the game in itself. You know, the game sort of died off when the ownership of the game just died off. Like, just the honorability of it all. Like, it just went left the moment the industry became more white. Like, it just became more European owned. Everything else under the sun. Like, let's be honest, the top 3 labels are owned by who? Like, let's look at that.
Right.
Like, come on now. Like, it's a done deal. And everyone is
Death Row is part of the CIA. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. I might just leave a little tidbit here, and then we'll go back to it on another Mindful Monday. But Tupac's biological father has been saying the same thing that I've been saying when I came out with talking about Keefe D. He said Keefe D's a patsy. I've been saying this. He's the Lee Harvey Oswald to your JFK. He's just a plant in the whole thing. And even Tupac's biological father said, I'm not going to even talk too much about that because he knows they could still get at him. He's an ex-Black Panther. He knows what it is. You're not going to tell us that it was just some gang related and because dude's chain got snatched off. That's low-level shit. They've been following Pac since he was in his mother's womb.
I was about to tell you that. You should know that as his #1 super fan.
Well, I'm not saying a super fan, but you know, that's my
No, I know. I threw that in there. But you should. We all should know. Them Letter Boys was following him as well as they was following Biggie, so they know who did it and who didn't do it or whatever the case may be.
Only follow Biggie because it had to make it look like it. I read 7 hours a couple of months ago from the FBI file. They had to make it look like this is a beef between these two guys and stuff like that. That's not it. They needed
it wasn't that.
Pac,
correct.
Period. Why?
Right.
Because he was going to cease the gang violence, the gang and drug wars going on with the youth, merge them together and get something positive going. You can't do that, little young Black boy. That's not allowed here. So what did they do? They beefed up stuff. They incited all this. They created the beef. It's written in the COINTELPRO. That's what they do.
Correct.
So why would we sit here and think that this dude who's low level hanging fruit, who they let for years sit on public domain and talk about how he was involved in a high profile murder? Are you serious? In what world do they do that? And y'all really think that he's the main one, that's the one who's got no, and no.
The sheeples believe it. The sheeples believe it because it's something that we grow up around. It's just like with the rest of these other rappers that, oh, well, so-and-so, yeah, he got shot and that's the way he died. And it's just like, bro, that might be the way they want you to believe it, is because of where you come from. So we're not going to take 2 chances to even look back and check it. We're just going to be like, yep, that's exactly how he went, because we're used to that. We're immune to.
But that's a high level. It's not like, what's his name that got shot here in Chinks and stuff like that. Like, it's not that type of murder. Like, dude, was a high profile. And you mean to tell me 20 some odd years, you got Keefy D, who's been on multiple platforms.
Makes no sense.
Like nothing.
Makes no sense. 27 years later.
Involved with the feds then. He has
and you saying it exactly what I'm talking about. And that's with everything, Foxy. How people just buy what is being sold to them. Yo, Maybach, it's 27 years later. They have to put the investigation together. I'm like, dude, I got some friends in LA that said, yo, the whole LA knows who did what and who didn't do what. They know everything. They've had the answers. I got friends that live in Vegas because both of those cities is connected. It happened over here, but the major players is from over there. But you got people that just buy what is being sold to them. Again, the best way I could put it, you go to Manhattan, you got your real stores. You go to Canal Street, you got your knockoffs. And people are going to Canal Street thinking it's Manhattan.
Right.
Like, come on, man. It's just like, yo, you just you just believe anything. Like, I be telling people, man, listen, if people believe in occultists, people believe in, this and that, then of course you're going to be bamboozled. Of course you can be swindled because you got a simple mind. It's just like, yo, people just buy and believe everything. Like you said, you don't even got to use the word patsy. Just do your own investigation. Look at all the DVDs.
That's what his father said. His father came on iHeartRadio. This was like before Christmas, and then he was on the Art of Dialogue, like a week ago or so. And he has said, and I was like, I'm glad that somebody spoke. And I know, and my heart of hearts knows that, like, his family can't really talk about, like, say it like that. But see, his biological father wasn't really involved with Pac like that. So he's the outside man in. And he's saying, like, yo, this dude here is not, because he was an ex-Panther, so he knows what the Alphabet Boys are capable of doing.
Of course. Pac wasn't a normal dude. He wasn't a normal person. Yeah, he might seem normal to us as a rapper, but like you just said, his family just looked like Wally said, the bloodline.
Weird. The bloodline. Yeah. He grew up not in a weird, but he grew up in a very, it would almost be like a crown, like an elite bloodline.
That's why they call. That's why. Go ahead, my fault. That's why they trying to say he might be a plant and he might be an agent. It's the same thing with Prodigy. They're like, oh, look at Prodigy's bloodline. His great grandfather founded Morehouse and all this other stuff. So he might have been an industry plant. His mother was in the industry. His grandmother owned the theater in New York and stuff like that, where Jay-Z took the infamous picture. Me, I don't look at it like that. Listen, what's the difference between Tupac and Bob Marley? Besides the Black Panther that's lined up with Tupac, it's the same person. Same, like they was following that man. They attempted to take him out. Like, that story is well known. And now all of a sudden you're gonna get a Bob Marley movie. I want to see what they do with that. That's going to the theaters. So it's gonna be 80% fiction. Yeah, it's gonna be 80%.
They son gonna come out and say that ain't true. That ain't true. That better not be true.
And his kids are involved in that too. So
okay. Well, then they should be able to tell the full story in one way or another.
No. You know what that means? The way I take Foxy saying that, they're getting paid. So it's like you said, the hush hush money. Hey, well, we don't want that.
That all depends on who's doing the story though, because I want to. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, they motherfucking just chose to sell out now. Like,
Well,
that's not what I'm
Riley,
saying.
I kind of feel your sentiment as well, because there's certain things that I question, that I look at and I'm like,
Because
it's
I said, it all
it's
depends.
against what his father would
Yeah,
have.
because at best, if you really want to talk about it, I say write it in a book, and just write his memoirs, and then just
Correct.
kick it like that. At
Correct.
best, if anything. But if you want to talk about a movie, depending on who you're working with, that depends on how this may come out to be. So
Correct.
yeah,
The reason why I say that is because 50 Cent, when BMF show first came out, at the beginning, it was nothing being said. And what I mean, like what being said as far as the credits. Now, when you watch BMF, they put it in caps. These stories are loosely based on the truth. Before, they never had put that before. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So they got to cover their butt. And as far as we know, like I said, when it goes to the movie theater, it can't be, it's like you said, if it's the book, yes, it should be 100% facts. Documentary, 100% facts. Anything that's going to television, you know what I'm saying, or the movie theaters, it's gonna be the opposite. It's gonna be 80% fiction and only 20% of the truth and stuff like that. And it's gonna be watered down and all this other stuff. It's really to keep the viewer watching. So they're gonna dramatize and exaggerate is the best way I can put it. They're gonna exaggerate the story a little bit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, So
I mean, shoot.
Hey,
I'm not saying that
that's their
children
father,
just sell out.
so they capitalizing on his name. I guess it keeps, but in the area now, I think it's Ronan that is got he's got some agriculture thing going on not too far from Spanish Town. But as far as that goes, I don't know if they're doing anything else like to help Jamaica out. So I don't know, like certain things about the family that I question, but I mean, who am I? Like, who am I really to question it? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm just like, but if that's your hometown, but then again, Jamaica's still under that British, and then they got the Chinese people in there now digging. So it's like, even if you wanted to do something for your country, or you wanted to do something for your land, even here, there's still redlining. There's still red tape. You can only go so far into doing some type of humanitarian work without them tapping at you like, oh, okay, put some money in our bank too while you're at it.
Correct.
So it's just weird. It's like, even if you wanted to make a school or build a school up or something, you got to be like
point.
Billions and billions and billionaire type stuff. And see, that's what these people did when the back in the 1800s, they were able to do that. The Rockefellers, the Carnegies, Rothschilds and stuff like that. They were in that industry and they created these schools.
Speaking of
schools that are there that Black people go to were made by white people.
Right. You know what's so interesting? Because I remember watching a video, right? They were breaking this down because it was I think it was Rockefeller that you're talking about, because they were saying, like, if you think about some of these schools and the way they named them, it was actually named after the wife or the girlfriend or whoever.
That's a fact.
Spelman.
Yes, Spelman. Yeah.
Spelman is named after Rockefeller's wife. That's a fact. Yep. That's a fact.
So
you're good. Go ahead, Wally. That's a good one.
Yeah, because when I heard that, I was like, oh wow. I'm like, so basically y'all rocking a white woman's name and title and everything. I'm like, y'all on your own with that.
And they only let, like, it was like affirmative action back then. So they allowed like 1 or 2 Black people to go and join in the schools because they wanted them to learn so they could teach the other Black people. But it wasn't like what we know it of today. It really was still on some old slavery, Southern antebellum slavery type thing. But they had the money and they can build these schools, and no one could say anything against them because they had the money to put up for it. So it's like, if we wanted to do that, we get redlined for it because now we're dapping into government sites and things that we it would cost a lot for us so that no one else could try to get over on our schools. And back then they didn't have anybody else to fight them to say, no, you can't build on this land, no, you can't build that school.
Right.
So it's hard today. So when you hear somebody like, oh, well, you didn't build a school, you don't did that and the other, I'm like, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Can it be done? Yes. But it also takes a village, and them white people all band together.
It shouldn't take that long, though, Foxy. It shouldn't take that long because we got some guy, whether he's a doctor or not, he's going around collecting tons of money for all these years, talking about some school he was going to build. And there's a guy that did a video the other day, the guy who's in Pennsylvania. You know what I'm talking about.
Dr. Umar.
Yeah, there you go. Like, so this is what I'm saying. I don't know if he's a plant. I don't know if he's an agent. I really don't know. But this is why I don't look up and idolize no man or no woman. I don't. Right. I'm sorry. My fault. Go ahead, Wally.
No, I wasn't saying nothing, but you know what? Just because you said it, like, and that's why I like with him, because I ain't gonna lie, because when he collected the money, I think to myself, like, okay, this man getting support. By then time, we got some representation like this, all right? We're getting some support. Black people helping this man out get the money, or most black women, whoever it is, right? They're patching him up the money, they're sending him all the funding and everything else like that. Whoop-de-whoop. But then next thing you know, what did he goes and do? He tries to quote unquote multiply the money by what means of source? By fucking going to the damn casino.
Correct.
And that was the most stupidest ish ever, because you don't even know what the fuck you're doing your damn stuff at the fucking casino. But
wait, what? He was at a casino?
No, literally, the money that he was gathering, he wasted it all at the casino and blew it. That's what I'm like.
Oh, wow.
Nigga, you are out of pocket. You gambled the people's money.
The same one that's talking about Eminem shouldn't be
Eminem should be this. The same one that sits here and talk about, oh, men are this and men are that amongst how they speak. But the thing is, look at you. People supported your punk ass, and what you did, you fumbled the dang bag 10 times over and threw the money away.
And he wondering why he get ridiculed, or we question everything that comes out of his mouth. Don't get me wrong. He makes some great talking points. He comes up with these good topics, some things that is factual that I can agree with him on. But brother, you make it hard to get the real support. That's why I don't give these people. That's why I tell people, you don't have to be in a conscious community to be conscious. We all have a third eye called the pineal gland in our crown. Like, you don't need to be part of a movement to feel like you have to, like, I don't know, man. Again, I'd rather stand alone than to be standing behind 100 people. And Raz Girl, I'm sorry if I do get loud to y'all on the panel. It's not me trying to be loud. I'm just passionate about a lot of things, so my voice goes up and I have to catch myself. But it's a lot of things that I could talk about, man. I could go bounce up and down, left and right. It's just like a lot of these things, man, that I'm like, damn, this is why we're never gonna progress. This is why you got this is just
pretty gangster just mentioned that, and it's true. She's the white people may hate each other a little, but when it's time for them to come together, they know how to, or they against blacks, they unify. And you mentioned that earlier, Maybach, where there's a lot of this we go against each other, but that's programmed in some ways. And it's like we won't collectively get along and do things collectively.
Correct.
Right. But
now in smaller groups, for sure. In smaller groups, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, just like colorism. Like I told you, I even put my right hand to the sky and told you, when I was a teenager, I only dated light-skinned girls or Latin females. And you know what I'm saying? I was hating my own kind or anybody darker, dark skin. I was looking at, and that's not to say I don't have dark skin in my family. It's just that, it all started with self-hatred. It's like, people be wanting to help other people, but you can't even help yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to help a helping hand, but you need the helping hand. You're giving advice, but you need that advice. So it all starts with ourselves. There's a content creator that always says, we cannot help nobody We got to help ourselves. We got to heal ourselves first. We got to get through the traumas that we all suffered before I can think that I can help Wally, or I think that I can help you. And that's a fact. That's why, remember the video I showed you? December 8th, right? Wally, listen to this. December 8th, we had a blackout. I mean, December 8th.
God damn. Okay, I'm about to say.
Bro. All dark. Yeah. My whole community was just all black. No, listen, we had no power, no heat, no electricity, no nothing. And I've been saying this on her platform in Philly OG. I'm not worried outside of my community. So what me and a couple of a few of the guys did, you know, we grabbed our little friends. We walked around house to house. Hey, y'all got enough water? Yeah, we got enough water. Y'all got enough clothes? Yeah, we got enough clothes. We might need some blankets. All right, they need blankets. How many y'all need? That's what we did. And we protected the neighborhood, bro. Make sure nothing comes in. And you know, whoever's going out is the people that live in that neighborhood. And, and I got and I got clear folks that live around me. So when stuff hits the fan, it's not about, oh, you know, you're Haitian, you're black, and you're this, and you're no, everybody's gonna have to take a stand together on one accord, on one synergy. You know what I'm saying? And we've been on Panero's platform, Panero's Mind, Panero's World or Mind. I forgot Panero's Mind. Excuse me. But yeah, we talked about that. I want generals standing next to me. I don't need soldiers. Yeah, you're gonna need some soldiers, but everybody's on one accord. We all thinking alike, and we protected the neighborhood. I can't think about 10, 15 blocks away. No, I got to think about my area first before I go out there. But I'm just saying, like, when stuff hit the fan, we had no power for over 48 hours. You might as well say 72 hours, 3 days, bro. No power, it's just straight blackout. And the only time we had light was during the daytime. And I'm talking about like outside. Inside, you know, we got flashlights, we have lanterns, stuff like that. But what I'm saying is we all got together and band and looked out for one another because we already prepared for this. And they've been telling us slowly but surely. And this is what it goes back to another thing.
Be prepared. Yeah. Dr. Umar likes to, that's his whole spiel is, you know, Pan-African, Black first. And the one thing that I was jiving with him in the beginning of learning about Umar some 7 years ago, is him with the Black boys in school and how, you know, the system is not geared for them. They want to throw them in, you know, special education, give them medication, you know, to calm them down. And they're being taught by, you know, white women, so forth and so on. So he resonated with me with that because at the time when my son was going to school, you know, I had some issues with him too, and they tried to throw him into special education. I'm like, there ain't nothing wrong. He is special, absolutely, but there's nothing wrong with him learning. And so from that point, I was rocking out with Umar, and then he became more Pan-African, and he became more like, you know, Black. You know, it should only be, and I'm like, all right, I'm listening, but then it started just sounding like it's biased at the same time. Like you sounding like a racist white man because you're just saying things that is the opposite, and I'm like, we don't live like that. Like that's not the world.
Right. Sound like Muhammad. Sound like Muhammad. What Malcolm X exposed about Muhammad.
Yeah, and you know, and he's following the Garveyite way and how Marcus Garvey wants to take, you know, the Black Africans of the states and bring them back.
That man was married to a clear woman, though. Garvey was married to a clear woman, though. So
yeah. You know, and so he's trying to keep that relevant, and it's like, it's funny. Like I laugh when he's like, you know, stop. He's like, Black men, stop messing with these snow bunnies. Like he's more of an entertainer.
But he loves them though. He loves them. He got caught on video looking at snow bunnies.
No, I
doubt. Yeah, he got caught staring.
But you know, so my point is that. At some point, Umar, it's not working. Like, you know, it sounds good on paper that we should stick to our own kind, and we should marry within, and ideally, if that's what you're going for, yes. But
That's not realistic, though. That's not reality.
It almost is like it's
But I mean,
it sounds like you're talking like a white man who doesn't like his white
exactly
to date outside, and it's like I don't know. Like after a while, I just can't. Like he cracks me up. But then the camel that broke the straw was he was posting on Instagram, and he wasn't saying nothing. He was just like cracking up because people were like writing, like no more snow bunnies, death to the snow bunnies, and so he's laughing, but he's not saying anything. And I'm like, this dude is actually a fool. Like he really is just. There's nothing going on. Like I know he posts that he's going here and he's going to Ghana and he's going there and he's doing that, and the third. But I'm like, what? I don't know what else are you doing? Because now it's not. You're not no more talking about the school system and how to educate the little young brown boys and girls.
And that's the other problem right there for me, where he has to realize
the African pieces, and you're talking about what now, because you lost me. So
Wally already told us where he's going. He's taking the money to the casinos. That's what he's doing. And
well,
he's
that's what he
paying
did the first time I heard him. He did that shit.
Listen, the man talks about ratchet women, but then links up with Sukiyana, who's the biggest ratchet chick out here besides the other rap. What's the rapper? Sexy Red.
Plants of the world.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Like, dudes like that. That's telling you. You know how I look at it. Just how Foxy said it. That's the best way. The person who's telling you to do this and do that, they're going against what they're telling you. So it's like me preaching. Protect yourself when you lay down. Protect yourself. But every time I lay down, I don't put no hats on. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, and I had to unfollow him because I was like, I don't know. He's not. It's more about black men stop sleeping around with these white women, and they're not going to do anything for your black children, and it's a rhetoric, and it's like, what happened to you talking about what we should be doing as far as with the school system? But you know why he had to stop speaking about that? Because now you could do school remotely and you can homeschool. So you can't keep running that same playbook by saying, this is what we got to do when our children are in school. So he's angling it another way, but and I hear you, Voodoo. Voodoo's like, Umar's right in his opinion. To some degree, where if you want to, there's nothing wrong with wanting to stay within your nationality or your ethnicity. There's nothing, no one's saying that's wrong, because in other cultures and other ethnicities, they do this. And we don't have a problem with that. If a Pakistani and East Indian person says they're saying that you can't marry outside of their marriage, who are we to say no, they can't, that they can? Right. And so in the same token, why can't we have that same ideology? We can, but his stance is almost sounding gimmicky. It's almost like it's comedic now, and now he's the butt of jokes when it comes to when a white man gets caught with a black man gets caught with a white woman, and then some of the women are getting mad, like, well, how come you not talking? Some of the guys are like, how come you're not talking about these white women, Venus and Eve marrying these white men, but you coming after the men? So it's really like a game at this point. I was like, I had to stop following him because he's really not talking anything educational. He's not really talking anything worthwhile other than just belittling down to the system that we're going against anyway. And I was like,
correct.
He has some good talking points. But he's losing it because, as I said, game over when there was no schools and all the schools got shut down with the pandemic. So you can't keep talking about how they're treating our children, because now you could have the option. Now homeschool becomes a real big thing, because I'm not putting my kids through what we went through, and they're not getting the Jabberwocky. So I'm keeping so he had to angle it in another way, and now it's gimmicky. Now it's something outside of what his purpose was. So
my only thing is though, because this is my only problem with him in the school, right? And this is the biggest thing that no one never realized. If you are constantly keep doing these shows, you constantly keep moving around, you constantly keep talking these influences, then who's running the show when the school gets put up? Who's behind you running the show? No one.
Correct.
So this is my problem. You don't even got it all together, and you don't even got no one backing you up to run the show in the school. So how are you gonna run the school and then do what you do at the same time?
Correct.
That don't add up.
Somebody posted on Instagram, they had did a video and they were going around the school showing like what's going on, and it was boarded up.
That's the video I was talking about.
There was like and that was like back in October, so it was kind of like the leaves were all down. There was cobwebs in certain places.
I was about to say that, the spider webs, spider webs, all of that.
He's like, I don't know what Omar's doing, but he's like, and what about security system? He's like, I'm able to walk up here, I don't see the cameras. What was all that he was talking about?
Okay, so
just another reason for me to unfollow him and just be like,
this is what I'm
it's good to know you once upon a time. But
see, the problem is our community or our people are yearning for a leader. But that guy who started the FBI said, if you get one, we chose him for you. We put him in place of power to control y'all. You get what I'm saying? So people need to get that out of their mind. Like, we're not going to get a Malcolm X no more. It's not. I don't care if he was an agent or not. Yeah, we're not going to get no Martin Luther King no more. Unfortunately, we're not.
Yeah.
I mean, even Tupac said that. Like, the day we ever see a black president. Okay, right. Okay.
Right.
Exactly. Like Foxy said earlier, the only time I ever voted before I did my homework and research on this guy, I went and voted for Barack, not knowing anything about him. But I had a homie that's from the Wild Hundred south side of Chicago that said, yo, homie, we know about this dude. This dude was just working in the YMCA and now he's the president of UC. And then once I start, he started sending me some footages and stuff. And I did my research. And like Wally said earlier, if you check on the last 5 presidents, except for Trump, they all related with the same bloodline. So what is that telling you? You know what I'm saying? What is that telling you? Yeah.
The inner sanctum.
Huh?
No, I said the inner sanctum.
Yeah.
But but that's why I'd be like, in most cases, when you look at some of these things, you just like, you just pick and choose. That's why, like, I remember the time when I don't think so I was able to vote at this time, or neither I was, one or the other, I don't know. But all I know was like when he came around, I was like, you know what? Secretly, I hope you win. But at the same time, I ain't voting for you.
Yeah.
And then after that, what you get to know when he comes out? Okay, so what? You get 8 years, and this is what they make you do for 8 years? Okay, yeah. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing.
And was it a coincidence that while his presidency, more melanated people was, things was happening to them? That's people don't be understanding, like, yo, we're really living in a simulated...
like all by design, and that was on purpose.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. We're living in a simulated world. This is a video game. That's what people need to put in their mind. You can either power up or you can not power up. You get what I'm saying? It's a simulated. Everything is there's always an answer to everything. Things don't just happen. Like even with the George Floyd thing, that was to get all of our attention focused on that. That's why the man had his hands in his pocket. He felt comfortable when they like everything is a sign. Everything is symbolic, but nobody pays attention to these things. You know what I'm saying? The little white dude who came from one state, his mother drives across state borders to bring him his artillery so he can supposedly do security for a protest. And what did he do? He unalived some people. And then when he's standing in front of the judge, his hand is inside his suit jacket. That's a symbolism, but nobody pays attention to that. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna say nobody, because there are people. The ones
no. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's not. I'm not talking to the ones who, we're like freedom fighters. We're free thinkers. Not to the truth seekers, not us.
Now, there's some people out there that know exactly.
But what's interesting? Because maybe you said it earlier, right? It's like life right now is like a video game. You neither. Everyone starts at the same thing, right? But guess what? In the video games, especially if you're on online, right? Because I'm online playing video games. I'm online playing games, right? Let's be honest. If you play a game, we all technically, like, let's say there's a new server, right? There's a new server, aka a new world or a new universe, right? We all start the same start. Well, guess what?
Correct.
The thing is, the only difference is this. There's people that's going to pay money. There's people that's going to grind. And then there's people that's going to do 50-50 in the middle. Which one are you? The higher ups, they're always going to be paying money to get to the top.
Correct.
You are going to be, most of us are going to be grinding because we don't got squat to pay up. And then everyone else is in the middle.
Yep, you're right.
So it's like, at this point, when you look at this game, well, technically, really, there is really no one in the middle, because if you're in the middle, why you're in the middle? But if you're looking at this world, I guess, some people are in the middle.
Right.
You know? Because people don't see the plays being done. Like, that's what's crazy to me, is that you don't need to be spiritual. You don't need to be this. You don't need to have a certain level of education to see that you're being played with. You get what I'm saying? It's like, if I come to you, Wally, and you could tell before I even come up on you that I got fake Jordans in my hand that I'm trying to sell to you. And you're sitting there laughing inside your head like, yo, this dude Maybach think I'm going to buy that piece of shit. Excuse my language, but you know what I mean? That knockoff. Like, but people are being like, I don't even want to call it bamboozle. I just feel like, yo, like I said, man, I don't know what's going on, whether they zombied out, whether it's too much distractions going on, whether it's the frequency from the Wi-Fi's, from their phones, their electronics that just got people like, I swear to God, like, it's just like, yo, people are getting dumber these days. I'm talking about, you know, at least there was a time where there was some form of common sense. That's not even existent no more. There is no such thing as common sense to a lot of people, you know, and stuff like that. You know, you got people doing math, 2 + 2 = 6. And they just going along with it. And they believing in that. That's what the math is. And it's just like, yo, come on. Are you that dumb? You stupid or what? Like, really? Really? You buying that? Like, come on. That's what really, that's what like really kills me, man. But again, I'm not trying to waste all my energy on that, because it's too much for us, you know, whether we have children, we have loved ones, family members. There's a lot of things that, you know, I know that kind of pulls our attention away from stuff. But that doesn't mean that you don't see what's happening. People see what's happening and nobody's doing anything. Gas goes up, everybody still goes to the gas station. You know, inflation, they smacking us. Things that was costing like $6 2 years, 3 years ago is now we're being charged $12 for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, no one wants to take a stand. We keep having these barbershop, salon conversations, and no one wants to do anything about it. And they should already know. Power is in people. It's not in government. Yeah, there's people that's put in position of power, but we can take that power away if we stand and do something about it. It's that simple. And that you don't have to be in a third world country. And you see there's uprising in third world countries, so we can't do the same thing. When they don't like what's being put on them or put upon them, they take a stand. When we had those big alerts that happened, they said there's a third world country that said, no, we don't want this alert. And the people stood against it, and they didn't get the alerts on their phones. To this day, they never got it. So we could do the same thing, but it's just that you got too many sheeples. Well, if I don't go to work and get this money, you're gonna pay my rent. And it's just like, it's not about paying your rent. Take a stand. Shoot, I told y'all I had almost 72 hours with no power. You know what I did? I got on the phone with the company. I said, listen, man, all of my stuff in my freezer, my refrigerator, everything went bad. I don't expect you to give me all my dime, but I'm not paying for the next 3 months. I'm not giving you a penny. And you know what they said? Okay, Mr. Montez. Like, but you got a bunch of other people that probably didn't even pick up their phone. They just go about their business. Well, I'll just go back to the grocery store and just replace everything that I had in my refrigerator and my fridge. But no, you got to take a stand. You know? So my fault again. I'm not raising my voice. It's, you know, it's frustration and it's passion. And it's just like, yo, we the people. Like Prodigy, I still listen to this man's music, because in a lot of the stuff that he was rapping about, popping this one, taking this and doing that, he was dropping gems. He was dropping gems, knowledge. He was dropping knowledge in the midst of all the BS. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how he be rap. His rap pattern is all off. He don't really rhymes together. It's not about rhyming. This ain't the nursery, bro. It's not about London Bridges fall. Like all of this stuff is connected. People don't pay attention to none of this stuff. Yo, you know there was giants once that roamed, but you believe in dinosaurs. But you don't want to believe that there was giants on this planet, on this soil, but you believe in dinosaurs. But it's just like, yo, listen, man. Like, come on, we still 8 years old now? You still, you know what I mean? You believe in, it's just, I don't know, man. Again, I don't expect for people to know what I know. But it's just like, yo, we need to take a stand and fight for something instead of fighting for nothing and dying for nothing.
Right. But you know what, maybe because you said it earlier, right? Because even when you whenever that
you said giants, where the Pinero popped up.
Yeah. But yeah, but real quick, no, because you were saying how when the blackout came through the community and everything. So I remember a time when the hurricane comes around my community and electricity was shot down. But a neighbor, he had a freaking generator. We connected a long ass jump cord wire, and we used that, and then we got power. And you know what I'm saying? And we were just rocking out until the thing got done and over with. So
there was some neighbors, going back to what you said, there was some neighbors. Actually, there was 1, 2, 3 neighbors in my community that had generators. So the people that was in the house, like the elderly people that was sick and stuff like that, for example, like my mom's who's on dialysis, we removed them from the community and brought them to an area where there is electricity, where there is heat and stuff like that, so they could warm up. My car, I had my car running. I had a full tank of gas, so people that needed to charge their cell phones, we was using my vehicle for that. So that's why I said it starts with a community. We ain't gonna save the world. We could want to save the whole world, but that's not realistic. It just starts. People think they gotta have all this money to do this and do that. No, for one, acts of kindness is free. It don't cost nothing. So that's what I'm saying. I went outside, I grabbed my little friend, and y'all should know what I'm talking about. I grabbed my little friend, make sure my little friend, was ready to go, and I knocked on the neighbors, the other ones who had their little friends. I said, hey, what we're gonna do is, this is my plan. Unless y'all got a better plan, we're gonna go house to house to see who needs what. My house, I got tons of water. We got tons of water. So anyone household that didn't have no water, here's 2 cases of water. Here's a case. Like you said, the ones with the generators, hey, you don't have no family out here that you can go to their home? No, you can't? All right, well, you're gonna go up the street. We're gonna drive you up the street and we're gonna bring you to Mr. Thomas's house. He got generators, he got heat, he got everything. Warm up there. His wife is making hot cocoa and stuff like that. Whoever wants coffee, bro, that's all it takes. That's why I when I sent that video to Foxy, she looked at it and was like, wow. I just recently sent it to Ant Dog. You know what I'm saying? Ant Dog's like, wow. A few people I just recently sent it to because I totally forgot about it. I sent it to Pinero a few days ago. That was December 18th. Like you said, this is what it was. They said we did have a little windy ass storm, but that storm it didn't knock down no power lines. There wasn't no trees down. There was branches down, but there wasn't no trees. There was no power lines, nothing like that. It was just heavy gusty winds. And they was like, oh yeah, this is what knocked down it. But I got a text from National Grid 3 days before saying that, oh, there's a storm coming and stuff like that. So you might lose electricity and power. Before, we would lose power for maybe an hour, the most. Nowadays, it's happening too frequent and it's going 2-3 days without no power. What they doing is they setting us up for that, what is it called? EMP? You know what I'm saying? When they're going to knock out everything. And I want to see people that jump on Twitter all the time, IG and all of that, what they're going to do when none of that stuff is working. TV's not working, radio. But see, this is what I'm saying. It all starts with your community. That's all it takes. You know what I mean? That's all. What's up, Pinero?
I want to salute my brother Pinero. He's in the building. That's our brother from the UK.
My people. Hey, mic check.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, enough love to my sister Foxy, man. And my brother Maybach Mel. And big up Ollie as well, man. Happy New Year to all of you, first of all, because I ain't spoke to you properly since the New Year, even though we know it's not a New Year then, but Happy New Year.
Same to you, brother.
Much love to you guys, man. Much love.
Nero, talk about that picture the video you sent me of the people that was in the South, Kentucky somewhere, and the lightning. You tell the people about what you sent me. That's crazy. When you talking about giants, maybe I was talking about giants. You popped in. I was like, "Where's Panero at?"
What video was that, Fox?
It was these people that was. Oh, it was with the giant, the face that was next to the moon.
Yeah. That, because you know what it is. I've seen that come up a couple times on so there's like basically the moon there, and then some face next to it. But like we said, Fox, innit? Like it's like some of these people, they're really on this clout chasing thing. Like if I saw that, even I wouldn't be acting like that. I wouldn't be shook, but I'd be like, okay, it's time to get my family together. And
I would have been. First of all, the person holding the camera was so calm, and they were just like, "Oh my God, did you see that? There's a face right next to the moon." My hands would have been shaking. The camera would have been shaking. Mm-hmm. No way. These people were too calm about what they saw, and it looked like a Titan's face, and like one eye looked like it was opening up, and it was right next to the moon. It was a full moon, and the guy, I think they were like in Kentucky somewhere down south, and they're like. The guy who's behind the phone or the camera, he's like, "Hey guys, why don't you get your camera too? Are you seeing this? Do you see what this is? Oh my God, there's a face next to them." I'm screaming, I'm cursing, everything.
It's like he was telling them. It's like he was almost telling them what to say, innit?
Right.
Like he was trying the video. And I've seen a couple of YouTubers do a video on that. But hey, Maybach, go back to what you were talking about with that video you sent me.
About the blackout that happened in my area.
That blackout thing, that's a serious discussion to have. I'm gonna take a clip of this discussion and put it up on my page too. But that blackout thing is serious because we all know how they're trying to get everyone to drive electric cars and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, you see what's happening too when you said electric cars.
Segue for you to say that. Oh.
Yep, the recall on all of the Teslas too. And is it a coinky dink that they just put out a movie where these cars are being controlled, and then now there's a recall on the cruise control or the autopilot on these vehicles. Like people think that, oh, this is just a conspiracy. It's not. They put the facts in front of you to see how people's gonna react, to see who's gonna get emotional, whose feelings get involved, and then but the sheeples, like I said, or the simple-minded, I should say, will look at it and be like, well, this isn't a movie. That's Hollywood. This trickery. It's not true. I just told y'all, watch Aquaman 2. They expose the facts, the truth about Antarctica, how it really looks. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But the blackout thing, like I said, that happened. We went over 48 hours. Like I said, you could say basically 72 hours in my neighborhood with no electricity, no power. There was only 3 homes who had generators. We all got together. That's why I said it was like a rainbow. When I say rainbow, I'm not talking about the community. I mean, as colored people. You know what I'm saying? This one is melanated. That one is clear. This one is not from this country. That one is from another third world country. We all band together. There wasn't no such thing as, well, I only want American Haitians with me, or I only want Jamaicans with me, or no, it was everybody together, dog, because everyone was affected by what was going on in that area. So the ones who can do security, we did security. The ones who can aid other people, aid people. I just said my car was being used to charge up tablets and phones and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's gonna when stuff hits the fan. It's not about, oh well, Foxy's Jamaican and I don't like Jamaicans, so I'm gonna pick and choose. There's not gonna be none of that. When stuff hits the fan, everyone's gonna have to get together. All differences aside, gang members or not, whether you on the blue side and the red side, y'all gonna have to stand together. That's what it's all about. But these people, whoever you want to call them, they did a great job with infiltrating and separating people. You got people like hating someone else for no apparent reason because of where they live at. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, what are we doing? We've been doing that for so long. Like, why are we still doing this? Like, you know what I'm saying? This repetition, we just going along with these people's plan, and they sitting back laughing at the whole thing. We slap them with inflation. They still buying stuff. We make the gas prices go up. They still buying stuff. But the real current events is happening, and niggas is still talking Negroes, or Negrums is what I like to call them, talking about Cat Williams exposing, like that's the biggest thing.
Maybe I hear what you're saying, bro. I hear what you're saying, but we need to start coming with some points that we can change that. It's all right. We will know what's going on, but we don't need scare factors. We need ideas that, like what you was doing last time on the show, that we said that you in your community were doing.
Correct.
Sticking together in certain situations. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
That's what we need right now.
Correct. Definitely. Like I said
Hey,
earlier,
did you see that?
No, go ahead, bro.
Go on, my bro. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say it doesn't cost a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? When I go to the grocery store, I'm not buying things just for my household. I'm buying things for an emergency, like what happened December 18th out here. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm buying canned goods. It's not just for my household. It's to spread love. Like I said, I go to thrift shops. I get extra blankets. I take them to the what you call it, the laundry mat. I wash the blankets to make sure they smell good and stuff like that, just so if things happen, because we've been being told for the last few years, I'm pretty sure y'all catch these videos too on y'all timeline, about an EMP can happen. And they really pushing it now. And like I said, they exposing it in certain movies. They exposed it in that movie, Leave America Behind, or Leave the World Behind. They exposed that's supposed to happen. And they already said who's gonna do it. And when they tell you the plays, we already know the real plays. We're being bamboozled by, oh yeah, it's gonna be this country that's gonna hit us. It's gonna be that one, but we really know who's really behind it. We ain't gotta go in depth with that, but that's all it takes, bro. You know what I mean? It starts with your community. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna save I can't save the whole world. I can have you guys, I can have family members. We all ain't gonna save the world, but we could start in our neighborhood, and that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the whole world or my whole state. I'm just worried about where I live and the people near me. How can I be an asset to this guy, or he could be an asset to me? This woman, she's nursing. She can teach these women how to do certain things. That's what we're gonna have to do, because it's been written already. It's been written.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go because it's almost 3 hours in, and I want to get Panero to give us a few takes on what's been going on over there by his way, and then close down.
Panero, you still muted up.
Okay. Wally.
Yes.
What's your last words on this Mindful Monday?
My last words. Oh man. I mean, honestly.
Until the next time. That sounds so morbid. What are your final words?
Well, I mean, honestly, I could say it like this, man. Sometimes we just got to recognize that everything that goes down, it's all meant to come out eventually, right? It's like it's not much of a shocker. It's just much of a, well, something was going to come out eventually, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's how I look at that. Something was going to come out eventually.
That's a fact.
Because someone always have a story that they don't share to the public that a lot of people wish they knew. So, hey, right. Can choose.
Parts. And what say you, Brother Maybach?
Say that again.
I said, what say you? What are your lasting words here before we depart?
My last words is, man, not my last words, but for the show is that
your lasting words for the show. I mean, you did say a lot, though.
Nah, I mean, listen, you told me to hold it for the show, so I held it.
You came out with the AK.
Yeah, because I saw Raz Girl.
In yesterday. I'm like, wait, save it for the show, Maybach. Save it for the show.
Yeah, because Raz Girl was like, yeah, let them know, Maybach. And it's like I said, it's a lot of anger, but it's more passion. that's behind it. Again, I'm not
Mhm.
Mr. Perfect. I once was blind. I once was simple-minded. I once wasn't paying attention to none of this
Right.
stuff. But
Mhm.
then one day I just woke up and started seeing things more in depth than what is being presented to me. So, and from that point on, I love the person who I became, the person that I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I could come here and talk about gang banging all day long because that's what I did, but that ain't doing nothing and ain't gonna move our community forward. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna set us back even more, and
Right.
I don't want to be part of that cycle. I'd rather be part of the cycle of the ones who stood tall, 10 toes down. And that's
Right.
who I am in real life today. I'm a single father of two. That's who I am today. And that's who I'd rather push out there and advertise than my old lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it all starts with our community. You don't need much. You don't need, don't got to be a multimillionaire because I'm not that. I'm far from that. Just have
Right.
enough money. Like I said, just know who our neighbors are. I know things, the times is different and stuff like that, and times has changed. But, I've been in my community for over 20 some odd years. So I'm well known. Like I said, I done coach, I mentored and stuff like that. I go to town hall meetings and stuff like that. And it's little things like that. That's where it starts at. Knowing what's happening in your town or in your city. You know what I'm saying? Get active. Instead of being the other active, streetwise active. That ain't getting us nowhere, like I said, and they're gonna continue doing this when we're not here. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna continue doing that. And our children is gonna be going through it, and it's getting worse. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not Mr. Perfect, but I just try to do what I can do. And I know God sees and hears everything. So
Most
that's it.
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Panero. Panero, where is you?
Where is you?
That's how I talk to my kids. Where is you?
Or art thou?
Yeah.
Panero, Panero, where art thou? He, if for those who don't know, Panero is in the UK. He's in not London particularly, but he's in England. So our time lapse is different, and he might be engaged in some stuff, but nonetheless, I'm happy that he graced us with his presence. I'm very happy that Brother Maybach came up as well because he definitely needed to release the beast. And I got to see my Wally, so I'm happy. And I got to see everybody else this year, the beginning of the new fiscal year. Lasting words is,
Well, shit, I mean, like Panero said, technically not, because technically
he's in the building. Salute. Technically, what?
No, like Panero said, I know Panero said something earlier, but I think he said it's technically not the new year, quote unquote.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh,
Yeah, because when you think about it, like we all know, like these months, they ain't what they are technically.
Correct.
No, and in my headline it says Happy New Fiscal Year because this is the fiscal year.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
right.
This is the beginning of their year.
Correct. No, but he was just quoting Panero. Correct. Yeah, because I was taught, right? I was taught the real teachings is the new year starts when things come alive, and we know what we're talking about, plants,
right,
and all this other stuff. Correct.
Yeah.
There you go. So, yep, you know what you're talking about. Wow.
So, that's so that would be
dying out season.
Right. But yeah, when we are mindful about the things that we have learned growing up and to then be aware of what isn't really true, we can move differently. Also, the key word too is applying yourself. Once you have this knowledge, what do you do with it? Does it just sit there, or should you apply it to some things? Like Maybach's been telling us, he had a crisis in his hometown and he had to apply the knowledge that he knew and work with it. So it's great that we can know, Christopher Columbus is actually Christopher Colon and he's a Spaniard, not Italian. What does that do in the grand scheme of things? How do we then change the narrative and help us, become aware and better in our own society? And not we're not out here to be teachers per se, but if you can teach someone something, then that's up to that person. We don't want them to follow us, and we don't want to follow them, but we want to move accordingly to the knowledge that we know, and always be I don't want to say suspicious, but be cautious of the things that you are learning, what you are watching on social media, because everything is not everything. And just because you hear it and the algorithm keeps pumping it out doesn't make it so. You have to read. You still have to read. You still have to do your due diligence and learn some things, unlearn, fight what you learn already. Because some of the stuff that we know, we're like, nah, there's no way, right? And we fight it because it's like, damn, but this is what we've been taught all along. But we've not necessarily been taught the right way, the correct way. We've been taught a way. And now we have to learn a new way. And everything is changing. The world as we know it is changing itself, even in its physical, right? There are new species that are coming, or species that have been around for a long time, but now are surfacing. Why? Because of the way the earth is moving in its own self. It's this rebirth. So, just paying attention and questioning everything at this point. I'm a firm believer now of questioning everything. Just because somebody's saying so doesn't necessarily make it the truth. All right. So with that all being said, I bid y'all all adieu. My Lotus, I thank you so much for being here. I love you to pieces. My beauty
Shout out
queen.
to Lotus. Shout out to
Love you
Lotus.
to pieces as well. And everybody else who was there. Voodoo came through. I saw him.
Yep. Salute to Voodoo.
Came into the building.
22 Roland, Raz Girl, Pretty Gangster.
My pretty gangster.
Yep. Salute to Wally for coming through.
Wally, Red Illusion was in the building.
Salute to everyone, man. Everybody who pulled up, and salute to the replay gang as well.
To the replay
whoever you
gang,
are, wherever you are.
Sharon, I know she's gonna pop by, so I always appreciate her her feedback. I just love her as a person. Point
Panero, we need one of your builds too, man. We need you to go live, man. We
were trying to work on something over the weekend, so he'll hit us up. But everybody
Last
else.
question, Foxy. Did you get a PO box yet? No. Foxy, no.
You
didn't get. Well, can you get one?
My daddy just died. I ain't thinking about no PO box. Like
I want to send you I want to send you some merch. You're a good advertiser.
I'm gonna get it together. Listen, it's a new business.
Hey, you got a website?
Who? Me?
Yeah, for your merch.
Yes, I do.
Okay, why don't you publish
Say that again?
No, I said drop it in the back chat, and then I'll promote it on my channel because I do a little business talk. So yeah,
appreciate that.
You can do that because it is a new fiscal year, right? So business is up right now.
Yeah,
for some. But I'm gonna work on it. I know Maybach.
Please do that because, like I said, I would like to.
Is a big thing. And like salute to Smitty also, because Smitty was here early. In the chat.
Oh yeah, Smitty. That's
at like 12 a.m. early.
Smitty is Smitty Mr. Digress, right? I digress.
Yeah,
I digress. Okay. Mike is muted.
Yeah, Mike is muted. I digress. Mike is muted.
That's my little chocolate shum. All right, y'all. So let's see who dropped the comment.
You got it.
Wally,
did you see it, Wally?
Wally, I'll let you know when I come back to doing the reading. But
I already seen certain things sort of play out. I think certain parts that you told me last time, I think it's playing out right into the position because certain transactions.
Because we did say this the next month or two is going to be some eye openers for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, the some of the early ones from the last one, and then beforehand, that's just. I'm not even seeing it. I'm talking about the long play ones, the long play versions. Yeah, those I'm starting to see that play out because I reconnected with someone because they came back to the space, and then it's like, okay, I'm putting two to two together.
I love this. Wally is my Blue's Clues, Where's Waldo, and Scooby Mysteries person. because his readings are always like what?
Abysmal.
I mean, it's insanity.
Look, I'm saying,
my phone was my battery's about to die out because we were on for so long.
It's amazing. Tell you straight, your battery's like, oh yep, it's about to die.
Yeah, about to die. But again, those who are I shared you out beautiful until next time. Oh, thank you, Kiwi. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not doing personal readings right now, guys. I just need to Brain Cells is on, I don't know what they're on, but they're on.
Peace, Loaded. Can I ask you one last question, Foxy? I heard this year is a karma year for a lot of people. Is that what do you feel about that?
Well, it's the year 8, and I'll talk a little bit more on that when I do the midweek check-in when I'm doing the cards, because I'll still like read the cards online, but I'm not doing the personal readings.
So you're gonna just be doing uploads.
I'll do shorts, but no, I'll do like the midweek check-in when I'm doing the midweek check-in for the cards.
All right, cool.
But personal readings where you're like talking, we're one-on-one behind the scenes, and I'm reading a personal reading for you. I'm not doing that right now.
All right.
But yeah, it is the number 8, so it is a karmic. And as I explained earlier, there is such thing as karma and dharma. That's the good and the bad. So whatever you put out this year, or what you put in the previous year is its cycle. Correct. Just think of it when you look at the number 8, it's like the infinity.
Correct. I did hear that.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten my intuitive download as far as what the year to come, like I did with last year. Last year was the year 7, and that was a spiritual year, and everything that I've said in that year all came to pass. And I'm kind of mad at myself because that included the death of my dad, and I was just like, yeah. But when you get a download, you get a download, and you got to express it. So I haven't really pondered too much about what the year 8 is, but know that it is a masculine number as well, and it is times 4, right? So 4 has to do with building, has to do with that community, as you were talking about earlier, right? And bridging together. It can be a stubborn number as well, because 4s know how to work with and without other people. But if they work without, sometimes they get stuck. So this 8, if you're working on some things, you got to try to be fluid and move with what comes your way. But I'll talk more about that when I get into the mindful, the midweek, and when I get a download, because I haven't really gotten anything hitting intuitively of what this year is going to be looking like. But yeah, you're right. It is. Lotus says last year was lessons clearing your karma, right, Lotus?
Yep. Again, I appreciate
and this year is what you sow. So you did some crazy stuff last year, coming back for you. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Again, Foxy, I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Always love, respect, and appreciation to everyone here on the platform, or to the ones that didn't show up. I hope nothing less but the best in abundance to every single one. Blessings to everybody. And I truly, deeply, sincerely mean that to each individual. I gained, whether y'all believe that or not, I learned a lot of things from each and everyone, from Panero to you, to Wally, to Smitty. I learned, and I tried, like they said, the best form of flattery is copying. But at the same time, if I'm copying you guys, I have to salute you guys. So if I do something that Smitty's doing by saying I digress, I mute my mic, I got to say, hey, to my brother Smitty, just acknowledge. A lot people don't think acknowledgement goes a long way.
A long way.
It goes a long way.
I appreciate it. Sorry, guys, man.
Now he wants to come in. I'm ready to go.
I know, but listen, I'm doing a show in a couple of days, man. So
JVJ
make sure that I'll send you the link. We'll do a show.
What? What are you talking about now?
So he's gonna do a show.
I'm saying, when I do my show in a couple of days, I'll send you the link and let you know.
Please do. Don't forget, because you've been itching to do a show. but then you go scattered around somewhere else. I'm like, where did he go? You like,
yeah,
Fox.
no, it's true. Yeah, man's gonna. You know what it is though. The show's gonna be a different format though. It's gonna be more
Okay.
It's gonna be more like stars, like that.
Ooh, like celestial stuff.
No, like stars, as in star report.
Star Report.
Oh snap! Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, that's
You know
what's
what I
up.
mean? Because see what it is, yeah. Like with the YouTube situation, it's like we got to start working with the algorithm.
Big ups to stuff.
So for example,
That's where I learned some of my stuff from.
you get, yeah,
Especially when he says the algorithm, like watch the algorithm. You can't say
but
certain
that's why I like to watch him, because he knows what he's talking about, man.
Absolutely.
And, so sometimes like just cover like, depending on the time that you're on. So if you're on for like hour and a half, we'll cover like 3 subjects instead of covering like 15 subjects. Because what that does, if you cover like 3 subjects, it will keep it in the algorithm if it's trending. You understand?
Right.
And
And
then
he puts it in his heading too. So like
right.
People know, and then that's how he gravitates.
Yeah, like he does like a main subject and then couple subheadings. You know
and the sub-subjects.
And then also,
all
obviously,
right, well, you let us know. We'll be over there. We'll go jump across the pond.
Wally, if you haven't, Wally, come over as well, man.
Okay.
Panera, yeah, just subscribe to my channel and come over there as well, bro. Like, you're welcome. You get me?
All right, brothers. I love you.
Yeah, big up, Maybach, bro. Big up, bro.
You already know, brethren. Big up to you too, man. Be safe out there. Stay vigilant and move militant out there.
Drop Panero's link, because I'm probably.
It's Panera. It's the same as my name. If you take that thing off the screen, Fox,
because I yeah.
You see it in his Oh wait, let me see.
Take that part out, please. Thank you. Okay,
yeah. My apologies. You know what it is. You know what it is. Yeah, you see around this time in the UK, Foxy. Yeah.
It's
The traffic is.
Yeah, so I was thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
you're in the car. You always stay in motion. You always stay in motion, Panero, in that vehicle, man. You always in motion.
Yeah, no, I got to keep it moving, man. These bills are crazy. Hey, listen.
I like.
It was snowing. It was snowing today.
I'm making it my goal to be out there by the end of the year or the beginning of next year.
Where, UK?
All of you are welcome, man. Come on,
man.
Yeah.
We got snow too. We got snow 2 days ago, brother. We got like 6 inches out here, man. I sent Foxy a picture. She's like beautiful.
6 inches? No, bro. You know what? I can't say nothing to that, because we didn't get no 6 inches. Our snow didn't even settle. You know what I mean?
We got the flurry. You got the same thing that we got. We got flurry. Like, it was more rain than anything.
Yeah,
but it's freezing, though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna come when it's warmer, because your cold is definitely cold.
It gets cold out there,
and it's dreary, and it's just
no. But you know what I was telling one of the boys though yesterday. I said to him, we had our winter over here was about 5 months, 6 months last year. It was long.
Your winter, that's about right. That's how long our winter is.
No, it's like we didn't see. It's like we don't see spring no more.
Oh, yeah, it kind of goes straight into either hot or
the temperature like is crazy.
Yeah. That's why I was saying that. That's why I was saying we got 6 inches. We haven't seen snow in years, bro. We haven't seen snow out here in Mass in a long time, and this is that area where we get nor'easters or whatever they call it. We haven't seen snow in a minute. You know, so a lot of us thought we wasn't going to get no snow. We thought the meteorologist was lying. But I felt like we was going to get it just because how the year started, you know. Well, not the year started, but, you know, what's been going around the world with Japan, the earthquakes and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
all right, guys, I'm going to go. I got to go. I'll talk to you all later.
I'm sure.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody. Stay blessed.
Yep.
Yo, bless up, folks, man.